inside.
Yep.
Can take over the reins in the centre position, and coming off the Tall Ferns camp, she played really well. Looking forward to seeing her step up.
So not too far away from the start to this Sky Broadband Rapid League contest between the Queens and the Whai. We'll have a look at the starters in just a moment. Before we do that, the ladder as it sits at the moment, this is the final game of round 4. The Hoi Hoi with their win on Friday night over the Whai. 2-point margin, what a thriller that was. They sit at the top, the Kahu, the Queens, the Whai and the Pauakai. Beside the points, the Rapid wins. Importantly, they add 1 point to the table. So the Queens are very, very good Rapid League team so far this season.
They are, and they won't be taking that for granted. That point is going to make such a difference by the end of this season. We're saying that there's not much actually in the talent of these 5 teams, but as you can see, there's a little bit of separation between the top 3 teams as a point from a point differentiating.
Here's the Whai starters: Cooney, Kirisome, Hokianga, Highland and West. An incredibly young team, but so much fun to watch.
Well, and that's what this Rapid League's about, right? Is getting these youngsters a time on the court, time to shine, and we've been seeing some incredible young talent come through.
And Payless Hokianga, number 12, just 15 years of age, scored 17 points in the Rapid League game on Friday night, leading the Whai to their first ever Sky Broadband Rapid League win. Let's have a look at the Queens lineup, shall we? And there is a very familiar name here. Kenny, Beck, Langton, Mason, Lokatui. Stella Beck is back.
Stella Beck is back, and just as I said, this is about the youth and this is about development. We've got 2 Tall Ferns in this Rapid League for the Queens. Tells you about the depth that the Queens have, but this is exciting to see Stella back on the court.
Yeah, and I like this. I mean, Stella Beck comes back in. She's been away for the opening few weeks overseas. This is a good opportunity for her to get her feet underneath her. By
her own admission, she said she hasn't touched a ball for 4 weeks, so it'd be a bit unfair for her to be thrown in the game against the Whai cold. So this is a great opportunity for her to warm up and find her groove.
TAB head-to-head for this one. There's the current form, the leading scorers. No Tiarawa Sopawanga, though, for the Queens this afternoon. Truesdell does stand out as a player to watch off the glass, but look at that field goal shooting percentage. That is the key TAB stat in this one.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what's gotten the Queens those wins in the Rapid League that are so important for the tally at the end of the ladder.
Let's have a look at the coin officials for today's Rapid League game, and there they are, ready to roll. Sampan Corey Hogg and Amy Jo Clark with the whistles. Now, these teams have already met earlier this season in the Rapid League game. The Queens took down the Whai 35-24. Eva Langton scored a season high 16 points. Keep an eye on her in this contest. And Josie Truesdell, 8 points and 9 rebounds for the Whai. Hirawani, 11 points. Hokianga with 7 points. Hirawani starting in the Tauihi game later this afternoon. Of course, players who start in Tauihi cannot play in Rapid League. It is a key rule of this new innovation.
That's right, and it gives us that opportunity to see all of the players that are coming out here, that making these teams, getting that opportunity to play in some really top-level basketball. I think the advantage that the Queens have had in their Rapid League games is they've got some real height advantage with some tall players like Eva Langton, like Josie Truesdell when she's not starting, that has just, and Paris Mason, as I just watch her step on the court, she's got a bit of height behind her as well. That's a strong lineup.
And there they are, the Ansco Queens, some of the fans in the stands, crowns and all. Great to see the youngsters out here early for the Rapid League contest. And that's one thing we've noticed so far this season with this quick-fire, short Rapid League game. The fans do come into the stadiums a bit earlier.
Well, they absolutely do, but they're also fans from the community that are there to support their players. And typically, most of these players are the local talent from the local high schools. So what a great opportunity to come in and support early. But I have been really impressed with the Queens crowds so far. 3rd game of the season, afternoon game. I reckon we're going to have a good one.
Set for a start here, Sky Broadband Rapid League round 4, final game of the round. The Queens in the C4 Seafoam green is the official colour.
Have you read that somewhere, or are you just making that up?
I think I saw it in the design.
Seafoam green.
And of course they're taking on
To ask New Balance about that.
the Whai in the white.
I do like their uniform though. If we're going to go uniform, and I'm thinking the blockbuster movie Barbie that's actually nailing it at the box office right now, that uniform is looking good.
You sound like a person that's been to see that movie a couple of times,
actually.
Megan.
No, I have not.
Underway.
I've got tickets for this week.
Enjoy. I won't be with you. Here's Hokianga. Kirisome now is a leading player for the Whai. Down low to West. Stella Beck right there knocks it out of play. Stella Beck last season, by the way, championship captain for the Queens in Tauihi. 12.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 2.5 steals a game. Shot the three ball at 44%. Queens will love having her back in uniform in this one today. Early turnover there against the Whai.
They certainly will. Stella is nothing but class, as she said. She hasn't touched the ball in a few weeks after a well-deserved break after her Tall Ferns tour over in Sydney, where they qualify for the qualifying Asia Games. But she certainly looks fit, and there's another steal at half court.
Turnover all the way to the hoop. There is young Payless Hokianga.
And what a finish. That's confidence from a young player with a one-handed layup.
She's a star of the future. They get it back again. This young, dynamic Whai team finding their feet in Rapid League. Highland. Kirasom can hit triples, back of the iron. Rebound, Lokatui has it knocked out of her hands again, but look at her get after it. Jump ball force, surrounded by 3-5 players, and the Queens will take possession.
Talk about getting after it, aren't they? The Whai have established early on that they're going to put pressure on the ball carriers coming up. The Queens will just want to make sure that they take their time. And
what's happened with Maya Dodson out ill today for the Queens is they have shuffled things around. So we're seeing Paris Lokatui starting in Rapid League. Josie Trusdell, who would normally be playing Rapid League, is into the starting lineup for Tauihi. So too Grace Hunter. So some changes for the Queens today as they shuffle the deck chairs without Maya Dodson. Here's Highland around Stella Beck, which is no mean feat.
That's no mean feat, but what a great drive that she had. The front step on her, took it all the way and tagged the foul at the end. That's a strong, powerful move.
So good start to this one today by the visiting Whai. Played on Friday night, flew into Wellington yesterday. We came in on separate flights, but I did see the team at the airport. Join TAB, deposit $10 and get a free $50 bonus bet. T's and C's apply. R18, and please bet responsibly as Highland converts a couple from the TAB line.
Look at that pressure that they're putting on the ball and forcing another turnover. They're getting right up into it.
Well, this is hot stuff, and this is what Rapid League is all about. 4x4 minute quarters, and the youngsters come to play. Kirisom goes out to the corner. Wide shot by Cooney, and the Queens just need to settle. A couple of minutes into this game, and they've really got it past this point. Here's Langton. Will they use their height inside? Stella Beck around the screen of Lokatui. Beck looks inside, turns it over on a loose pass, looking for Paris Mason. The Queens look stuck in concrete at the moment. Kirisom back to Cooney, now with Hokianga. She's a creator, the 15-year-old. Through traffic, draws the foul against Kenny, and she'll revisit again for the Whai, back to the TAB.
Oh, she is fun to watch. You imagine she's doing this against professional women at the professional level. I would love to watch her play a little bit more at her own age grade. I can only imagine she just carves it up. What confidence out of a 15-year-old. She knocks the first one down from the TAB, talking about confidence.
So a 5-zip start for the Whai, and now Hokianga converts again. So not only is it a hot start in this quick fire competition, a 6-point margin is telling. Early days though, Beck Langton. Not sure the Queens have had possession inside the paint once so far this game. Sopawanga, and again, another turnover against the home team. They are yet to get their hands on the ball, Megan, inside the key. Not once.
You're absolutely right there. The idea was right. The back door was there, but the pass execution just wasn't on. But I give credit to the Whai for putting pressure on that passer out on the outside.
Well, this is a more experienced Queens team than this young Whai outfit. Hokianga again on the drive, hands it off. Jade Kirasome can't finish. West on the turnaround. Thought she was fouled. No whistle. Now the Queens get going.
That was a lovely dish inside.
Supawanga. Naomi gives it up to Mason. Her first real touch in the game. Inside Lokatui. Beck hands it back out. Supawanga on the shot. A miss. And this running Whai team quickly down the floor again.
And a pressured shot as well. They finally got the ball inside, dished it back out. Oh. Gosh, they are just picking them apart.
Queens look shell-shocked. Late in the first quarter, of course, coaches can't call timeouts. Each team has one player timeout per half. Sopawanga fouled on the way to the hoop, and our first real look at the Queens attacking the basket, Megan.
As a lovely little crossover move inside, and as you say, the first actual opportunity that this team has had, the Queens have had, to look at the basket.
There's the foul at the TAB line. Naomi Sopawanga converts. Can't hit the second. Scoreboard showing 8-2. Got a feeling that'll change in the venue to 8-1. We'll keep an eye on that. Here's Chandler from the corner. Rebound, Beck reaching in over the top. Hokianga, welcome back to Aotearoa. Stella Beck, tall fern, sensation.
Captain of the inaugural winning team. I am still going to come at you.
Well, interestingly, Stella Beck this year again obviously is the captain of the Queens in Tauihi, but Latava Kenny is the captain of the Rapid League team. Paris Mason draws a foul with a couple of seconds to play in this first quarter.
And it was a great read by the Queens. Obviously looking now, they know that the Whai are going to press, and they did a really good job of breaking that full court pressure. And Paris Mason, of course, she can hoof it down the court.
Honey Cooney with the foul. Payless Hokianga, 15 years of age. Honey Cooney, 17 years old. Anika Highland, 17 years old. Some incredible talent coming through New Zealand's basketball system. That'll do us, quarter time. And a quarter that belonged to the visiting Whai in today's Sky Broadband Rapid League game. They hold an 8-3 advantage, and there was a lot to be impressed by. Megan Compain.
Oh, the Whai knew exactly what they wanted to do. They came out, put pressure on. How many turnovers in the first quarter of the Rapid League game? I have to say, though, I think the Queens will adjust really quickly in the second quarter. They're an older team. They're experienced. They know what they need to do. They're going to have to get the ball inside, and I think that they'll start to settle it down, break that press, and we'll start to see that score even up a bit. But man, the Whai have been incredibly impressive early on.
Well, they had their first Rapid League win on Friday night over the Hoiho, 28-21, and they've really gone on with it early, haven't they?
They certainly have, and it's incredibly impressive. As you say, we've got 16, 15, 17-year-olds in this team. It's saying a lot for the future of basketball, for the future of women's basketball.
So early stages here this afternoon. GJ Gardner-Holmes at Tauihi coming up after this one. If you've just joined us, the news for the Queens, Maya Dodson is absent today, will not be playing, out with an illness, certainly nothing serious, and expected back for the Queens' next game, which will come up next Saturday against the Kahu, which is always a good matchup.
Oh, it's I don't want to say it's the matchup, but you can't help but get excited about when the Kahu come to town.
So the Whai with first possession in this second quarter, as the Queens look to wrestle back this margin. That's not the start the Queens wanted. The Whai with another basket, exactly what they were looking for.
And Amy West not making any mistakes there, putting it away.
Here's Stella Beck backing down Chandler. Now that is just experience and class.
I said a bit of pressure going the other way. The Queens have decided to step it up full court.
And it wouldn't surprise me if they put Stella Beck inside a little bit more often here in this second quarter. Rebound from Beck.
Well, she does have a little bit of a size advantage over Maya Chandler.
Keep an eye on this for the Queens. Margin at 5. Mason under attack by West. Drives hard as she does, Paris Mason. Draws the foul, and it's a part of her game that she's really improved.
Yeah, she certainly has. We're seeing Paris on the court in this professional league this time last year, and she was incredibly strong on defense, but we saw that in the final, didn't we?
Yep.
And it was a big difference maker, that driving layup, when she's just got such a quick, fast step, but you just see her development over the seasons.
And sometimes the cameras don't do it justice, but go and stand beside this young lady. She's very tall.
She's quite tall.
Second one.
Nailing it from the TAB. That's what we like to see.
Goes down, and that margin is back to 3. So the Queens have settled now early in the second quarter of this rapid league game, 4x4 minute quarters. And instinctively, Megan, as we've seen over the opening rounds, because it's 4x4 minute quarters, players tend to play quicker as well.
They do. The speed of the league. Fantastic finish there by Maya Chandler. The speed of this competition, the rapid league, it makes me tired just watching watching them go up and down the court.
Whippy with the pull-up, misses. Rebound Mason, who is just drawing fouls endlessly at the moment. And I think she might be coming to the side for a break. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. Nice offensive rebound. And Makadesh.
But thank you very much. Paris Mason out for Paris Lokatui in, and you don't lose much there. Lokatui
towards the basket on the inbound. Instead it goes to Sopawanga. Back of the iron for 3. Lokatui had it knocked out of her hands. Coming up with it is Stella Beck, and bodies everywhere here.
Certainly is. There's no question that both these teams really want this today, and they are going for it.
Have a look at this on the replay. Bodies everywhere.
I'm not quite sure what they've called there. Is it a foul before, or are they calling the foul on Stella's shot attempt after she ripped the ball out?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a foul at the end of all of that. And it will be a Queens inbound ball.
Advantage like some other sports that we've got
Just
here in
keep
New
going.
Zealand. Just keep going, yeah.
Lokatui, Sopawanga. Queens down at the moment. There's a foul off the ball here, and it might be against Maya Chandler. In fact, it's another foul on Makadesh, who, I've got to tell you, isn't afraid to lock horns and tussle inside the paint.
Oh, she's incredibly strong. She's got a really solid base, really strong down low. I don't imagine it's an easy task getting. Oh, what a cut! I cannot that pass getting through. Paris Lokatui getting that shot up with 3 around her.
Here's a good look at the GJ Gardner-Holmes replay, and I think that's another foul on Makadesh. That might be her 3rd. It is. So she stepped onto the floor in this quarter and has quickly made her presence felt, but it is also giving the Queens opportunity. Lokatui puts the second away from the TAB. Margin is at 4. And maybe a turnover on the inbound. Whai will get it back. Latava Kenny right on the scene.
But that's obviously a tactic. Coach Tupu has decided we've got pressured in the first quarter. We can give as good as we get, so they're putting a lot of pressure on the ball up front.
Hokianga gives up a left-hand drive, goes to the corner. Chandler to Kire Some. No, can't finish. Stella Beck up with it. She's really starting to find her feet now and warm into this game, isn't she? Here's Kenny. Beck Highland right there with her. Lokatui inside. Kenny back to her left. Misses. Lokatui will get it. Shot clock down to 3. Has to shoot. Front of the iron. They'll reset. Well, that's hit the front of the ring for mine.
Like it did, yeah.
And the Queens are protesting that. That should be a Queens ball. Definitely hit the front of the ring. No doubt about that. Let's have a look here. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. Here's the shot. And I think that has just nicked the ring.
Wow, you could be forgiven for the referees for missing that one and looking like it hit the net.
There was nothing in it. In fact, it may have hit the underside of the ring on the way through.
Right. Give it to the Whai. Their defensive pressure.
Remi Ura is onto the court in this second quarter for the Queens. Sapawanga. Oh, Lokatui through with force. Knew straight away she'd committed the foul, but how's the commitment?
Hand up straight away. Would take a bit to knock Makadash off her feet.
Big contest. Yeah, Makadash is one of the strongest rebounders in the competition.
Strong rebounders, strong players.
She was put to the floor, wasn't she? Hokianga again on that left, so dangerous. Here is Makadash. I think she may have stepped one or two too many times there.
Was in the right place at the right time, got the rebound. It's a few steps to get that last shot off. We've got some subs in. Subs in the game. Eva Langton back in. Paris Mason back in.
Inside the last minute of this first half. Whai out to a hot start. The Queens gradually making their way back into this game. Here's Mason. Great feed from Naomi Sapawanga.
It was a great feed. Great cut by Paris. Good finish under pressure. The Queens just putting a bit more pressure up the court.
Highland for 3. Can't finish. Cooney gets things going again for the Whai. Here's Jade Kirisome. Nice move back to her right into the corner.
And after it on the boards as well. It's one thing that Queens have been struggling with is offensive rebounds against them.
Kirisome.
There's 3 in one possession now.
Gets it back from West. Now Amy West goes searching. Shot clock at 8. Late shot here in the half for the Whai. Again, they go into the corner. And this time they're rewarded. Payless Hokianga. Langton maybe a late shot. Queens could have used their Sky City player timeout to advance the ball. Missed opportunity there. Here's Kirisome going into the corner for Hokianga. And the Queens had more than enough time on the baseline to quickly signal the Sky City player timeout. They'll learn from that.
Well, that's a killer too. That's a one possession that turned into 3. That turned into 3 points as well at the end of it, right at the end of the second half. They could have been going into the third quarter 2 points down, but now they're 5. But the Whai have just been decided that they are going to out-hustle defensive and the offensive rebounds end of the court. And you got to give it to them for an exciting first quarter.
Yeah, they were very good in the first quarter and they finished well in that second. They lead by 5 at the half. Hokianga, after her huge game on Friday night, is leading the way yet again for the Whai. The 15-year-old has 7 points and a couple of steals. Paris Mason, leading from the front for the Queens, has 6 points. But the Queens with some work to do. The Whai won the first quarter 8-3, and they tied it up at 7 apiece in that second quarter.
Well, the tail of the first quarter was turnovers. The Whai forced the Queens into 6 turnovers in that first quarter while only giving up 1 themselves. In the second half, only got 1 turnover from the Queens, so they did a much better job of looking after the ball and put a lot more pressure on the Whai up the other end, but still they've only turned the ball over twice, so they're really taking advantage of possession and looking after the ball and getting every advantage of it.
Coaches get an opportunity in between quarters to talk to the players for 1 minute. And at halftime, just 2 minutes. We keep talking about how quick this game is.
It's rapid league for the players, for the coaches, and for the commentary. There's no break, Justin.
Well, whoever came up with the name Rapid League knew what they were talking about.
I feel like I need a drink of water.
Underway, third quarter. Whai lead by 5. Here's Hokianga. Just love the way this youngster goes about it. Sets up Jade Kirasome, who gets it back now. Again, another second chance opportunity for the team in white. And they are rewarded. Kirasome with the 2. They're out by 7.
Well, that could be the difference of the game, taking advantage of those second chance opportunities and putting it away.
Well, they've taken 9 rebounds in the game, the Whai, 6 of them off the offensive glass.
That's right. And that seems to be, I think, the Queens have struggled with that both in Tauihi as well, giving up those offensive rebounds.
6 of their 17 points have come off turnovers as well. So they are making the Queens pay, and again, defense wins out. This is an impressive show from this very young, energetic team. And the Queens just look shell-shocked at the moment.
They do. They settled down in the second quarter. I think that the big difference when you've got Stella back on the court and now she's back on, we'll see whether they are able to. But in saying that, lovely little move there by Anika Haaland. Little hesitation on Teo Remuera. And they just have their number.
Margin at 9. Just too quick, aren't they? Again, errant pass inside, although, to be fair to Paris Mason, who was passing, Lokatui was the target, and she was held out.
Well, held out and then ended up on the floor. I wonder
Amy West is
whether we're going to see that from that angle.
the perpetrator. She goes into the book with a foul, but the Queens with a lot of work to do here, and a 9-point margin with 7 minutes of play left is significant. Beck, what can she do? Again, hands everywhere. They may get it again. Lokatui right on the buzzer. Rebound. Beck trying to go back up. Draws the foul. And everything just seems so hard for the team in green.
Well, no shot is uncontested. And you can see that Stella had a great drive there. 2 players came from either side and just smothering, getting a hand on the ball, making everything really difficult.
Stella Beck, a very reliable shooter from the TAB stripe. When these two teams last met in the Sky Broadband Rapid League, and there's the commentator's curse coming through. The Queens obviously got up in that game, but Eva Langton scored 16 points. She hasn't had 1 shot so far in this game.
I don't think she's touched the ball other than the shot at to end the second quarter.
Hokianga. Oh, the step back, delightful. Did everything bar make the shot. Pressure from behind. Highland reaching over Lokatui.
And that would be the way that the Queens were going to get themselves back in the game, I would imagine, is put the pressure on the Whai, use their height advantage particularly on a mismatch when they're switching up high, and get the ball down low.
One of the Queens' strengths so far in Rapid League this season is their 3-point shooting. They've only taken 3 shots from outside the arc, and they've missed all 3. Sopawanga, turnover, another one. That's 9 turnovers for the Queens.
And that one shall be the one where you just smack yourself in the side of the head, because that was her layup. That the path just opened up, but just mismatched the ball.
There's only 2 stats the Queens are winning. They're up by 3 on rebounds. That's the one they want. The one they don't want is they're up by 7 on turnovers. Here's Beck. 3-point attempt. A little bit too deep. Honey Cooney with the rebound. Reaching in, Beck called for the foul. 1:46 to play in this third quarter.
That's a frustration foul there.
Sunday afternoon hoops, live on Sky Sport and around the world on FIBA YouTube. Whai lead this Rapid League game by 8 deep in the third quarter. GJ Gardner-Holmes, Tauihi to come after this one. Some big matchups in today's key contest. A miss from Kirasome, and now sensing the urgency, Beck brings the ball up the floor quickly. Mason with the shot, short from the arc.
Short from the arc, followed the shot. But the Whai back in control again.
And moving the ball with class. Wow. Play of the game, Megan Compain. How good was that?
That was good. Such a heads-up play. Just that second pass, finishing that shot too, with the Paris Mason bearing down on you to get the and one from the stripe.
Cooney
I'm
with
really liking this young, talented team.
Good, isn't it? Cooney with the initial pass. Jade Kirasom's pass to Hokianga was fantastic. Speaking of passes, a good one there. Paris Mason to Naomi Sopawanga.
And a lovely little cherry pick there.
Here's Cooney. They bring it back out. Sky City player timeout. 45 seconds, just under, to play in this third quarter. Jade Kirasome, who is probably the elder statesman of this team. I'd have to check that. I know Amy West is 23. They don't get much older than that. There's the QR code on screen with thanks to the Sky City. If your group wants to head to a game, lots of tickets to give away. Just scan that code and Sky City will send you some tickets to the big game. Go along and see some Rapid League and Tauihi this season. What a great initiative that has been throughout the year in the Salza NBL. Thousands upon thousands of tickets for groups.
How great is that?
Queens win it back. Last 30 seconds of this third quarter. Margin at 8, and a miss there for Paris Mason. That would have been handy.
That would have been handy. That was a gimme. It could have gotten them within 6 points as they finished out the half of the quarter.
And maybe the Whai with a chance to extend. Shot clock a couple of seconds inside the game clock. Kirasome now inside West. The big clutches, drags it in. Missed shot from Highland. Late shot, buzzer goes. Not there for the Queens. Had the chance to bring it back to 6. It remains at 8. As we take the last break in this Rapid League game, the coaches get 1 minute here. I like the fact that the coaches don't have a massive influence here.
No, I'm on the edge of my seat here because there's 8 points in this game, but can turn so quickly as well. 4 minutes is quite a bit of time if they can get a 3-point shot going. The Whai have been unbelievable all game. The pressure they've been putting up on court. I do wonder though, you start to get a couple of those little holes that Paris Mason, if she had to hit that shot, that was a hole been picked out by the aggressive pressure that the Whai are putting on up the back end of the court.
You can see McKenna Dale there looking on in the background. Michaela Cowling also there. They will feature prominently this afternoon in the Tauihi contest. The Whai falling 2 points short on Friday night in Tauihi to the Hoi Ho. There's the Sal Super Special for this week. The large 100 pepperoni black garlic pizza, just $30. There's the QR code on screen. That'll take you straight through. You can sit back and enjoy some pizza. Valid until next Tuesday, and there's the online code.
That's a lot of pepperoni on that pizza.
Well, it's 100 pieces. I've counted them. I'm telling you, there's 100.
Pepperoni or cheese margarita?
Oh no, I'm a pepperoni man.
Are you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't eat pig, so
love a Sal's pepperoni. It is the best. Underway, last quarter. Mason has it knocked out of her hand. Queens will hold possession.
And there are the Whai again. They've got their hands on everything. Pressure, so much good pressure on the ball handler.
Well, I know there's been some debate, Megan, around the league I think the Kahu in particular have been using older, experienced players. In fact, they used an import a couple of times in Rapid League. What I do like is what the Whai have done. These young guns, young players coming through, getting the chance to use this competition to gain experience and minutes, and we're seeing it work.
Well, and they're holding nothing back. And we all know as you get a little bit older in your career, you have to start to manage your time and manage your time on your legs and manage your load a lot more carefully because you just can't give what you used to be able to give when you're 17 years old. And that's what I'm looking at this Whai team. They have not let up.
Cooney for three. Well, just as you talk about these young guns, they fire up early in this last quarter with a telling basket.
And that might have been the nail in the coffin, Justin. I mean, it's a little early to say with 3 minutes to go in Rapid League, but what a clutch shot.
And back the other way, the Queens continue to fail from outside. Hokianga for three, a little bit too deep. Rebound, Lokatui, full length to Mason. Oh, the hesitation was very clever. Drew the foul. She'll head back to the TAB.
Great heads-up play by Paris Lokatui. And she saw how effortless she managed to throw the ball 3/4 of the way down the court to a running Paris Mason.
And I think you forget, speaking of young players, Paris Mason, what, 20, 21?
20, I think. She was 19 last year, I believe.
Paris Lokatui, 21?
Yes, she has just turned 21. And coming off a knee reconstruction last year. It's great to see her back on the court and looking fit.
She's just looking at Paris Mason's face then running down the court. She is completely gassed at the moment. That's how quick this competition is, this Rapid League. It is hell for leather stuff. Kira Some, big three-pointer. Oh, how's the contest today from the Whai? So much to like about the attitude and the commitment that they've come out with.
Well, they are doing it at both ends of the court. They came out the way that they meant to finish, with defensive pressure on these incredibly experienced tall fern laden Queens team. Not only that, they've made them really work at the other end, hitting the open threes, putting the pressure inside. Just a really impressive team.
There's the Stella Beck drive. Good screen set by Lokatui, opening up the lane, taking out some of the media along the baseline. Halfway through this last quarter, again, the Whai feeling it. Another offensive rebound. West to Cooney. Cooney with the shot, and again they get it back. It's endless stuff from the Whai at the moment. On the run, Mason, will she keep this in? She will, and she finishes. Lokatui and Mason combined for a second time this quarter.
That's a great finish by Paris, with almost flying under the basket to reach back and have body control to make that count.
Highland, West, Lokatui finding her feet. Pass to Kenny is a hard one. Gets it. There's a little bit of a push under the basket there that went unseen. The pass was deflected, and look at that. This is how exciting this young lady is. Payless Hokianga, I saw it Friday night, Megan. She lit the Hoi-Ho up for 17 points, and we're seeing it happen again.
I'm just a bit, my mouth's open right now. It's just the presence of a player that young to be coming down the court. Heads up play. She's a 3-on-2.
Look at the finish,
body
though.
control.
Oh, we just missed the finish there, but
just the body control, the heads-up play, left-hand finish. She's class.
Just want to remind you all, she's 15 years of age, youngest player in the competition this season. I'll tell you who will be watching on, enjoying it at the moment, as the Queens will get a late basket here through Stella Beck. I reckon Tall Ferns coach Guy Malloy, who watches all the games from back in Australia, he will be very impressed with what he's seeing from some of these Whai youngsters.
You've got to give it to Naomi Sopwanga there. A lot of hustle there from the Queens. They have certainly not given up.
Oh, that was an almighty effort.
It was. Followed up by the full court layup by Stella Beck.
Here's Kira Sommer out by 8. Whai going to get the win. Their second of the Sky Broadband Rapid League competition. Lost their first 3, but gee, they've come to life in round 4. Late 3. Doesn't go down. And again, the Queen's running the floor.
Paris.
Rim runner Paris Mason couldn't finish on her left. 20 seconds to play. The Whai have already used their Sky City player timeout, so they're just going to be happy to wind this one down. Great win for them to start their Sunday afternoon journey to the capital. They take down the Queens 29-21. Very, very impressive. Hokianga start in that game. The youngster yet again putting on a show. She finishes with 11 points and 3 steals. Game high scorer for the Queens. Paris Mason ends with 10. Stella Beck back for her first run this season. 7 points and a game high 8 rebounds. But the story of the night, or the afternoon I should say, with the Whai winning was the youngster Palis Hokianga. Huge game Friday night, and she's come out and backed it up.
Congratulations,
today. Here she
that was
is.
a great. Good. Oh, congratulations, what a great win. You guys put the pressure on from the minute that you tipped off. Was that part of the plan?
Yeah, that was part of the plan, just to push up, stop the ball and get some stops at the start. Yeah.
Well, it was really impressive watching you guys play together. You're such a young team coming up against some players that have tall ferns in there. Did you think about that at all?
No, we don't think about that. We just play our game and just compete to the end.
That's great. Well, congratulations, and go get ready for the next game.
Thank you.
Well, she sounds like a youngster doing an interview for the first time. Broad smile. The Whai fans are happy, as they should be. A win in the Sky Broadband Rapid League this afternoon for the visiting Whai. Their second win in this competition of the season. The Queens are 4-2 in Rapid League. Whai get it 29-21. Quick break from Rauparaha Arena this afternoon. Stick with us. About 15 minutes time, we're back for today's big GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi contest between the reigning champs, the Queens, taking on the Whai. We'll see you shortly.
for the Tauihi game between the Queens and the Whai. Well, the starters warm up and do their thing. Get yourselves a break. That's the fourth up you need to take. Queens fans, let's go.
Hopefully, and I think the Whai doing a good job of it, like they just said to me then, we're trying to play rapid basketball with our young players more rapidly. I said, great, I said we love it. Like that's what we want to see, yeah. Did you like, you didn't pick up on the time when we did the replay of soccer one, and I said that was an almighty effort. Saying that she wins.
Always that challenge.
Starting 5. Number 2, Aaliyah Wilson. Number 1, Sarah Segura. Number 3, Michaela Cowley. Number 44, McKenna Dale. Number 10, Alisa Hermany. Number 30, Amy West. Number 27, Anika Highland. Number 11, Jade Kennedy. Number 6, Maya Chandler. Number 9, Honey Cooney. Number 12, Talis Hokiama. And the captains for tonight's team is number 14, Becca Dash. That is your 5 starting team. And introducing the starting 5 for the Tokomanawa Queens. Make some noise for number 5, Stephanie Ross from Charlotte, North Carolina. Number 3, Chris Linkar from Iowa. Number 10, Tegan Van, the captain from Wellington. Number 4, Grace Hunter from Porirua. Number 12, Josie Georgetown from Napier. Number 23, Paris Robotui. Number 2, Vitama Kinney. Number 13, Paris Mason. Number 7, Stella Beck. Number 11, Eva Langton. Number 6, Naomi Sotomala. And number 1, Tia Remuela. Those are your team players for your Tokomanawa Queens.
No mai, hera mai, hello and welcome to Rauparaha Arena here in Porirua. GJ Gardner Homes, Tauihi Basketball Aotearoa, Queens and the Whai, the final game of round 4. Looking forward to this one. Queens coming off a loss, the Whai also coming off a loss. It is all to play for this afternoon. Hello and welcome, Justin Nelson with you, sitting right alongside me, Megan Compain. Always good to see you, Megan.
Well, thank you, Justin. We've just been here for an hour
We have.
watching this incredible Rapid League game, but you're right, both teams are going to want to come after this with a W. Both teams going down to the Southern Hoiho, and wow, how good have they been this season. With Maya Dodson out, Josie Truesdale gets an opportunity to step up, but the Whai, they are not going to want to go down lightly, and we're really looking forward to seeing how fast these two teams are going to get up and down the court today.
Well, the earlier Rapid League game, the Whai take down the Queens 29-21. Boy, what an effort that was. They add another point to their tally on the ladder. There it is. Queens in third. They go top position tonight if they can take down the Whai. However, if the Whai can get their second win of the season, they start to bridge that gap to the top 3 who have moved away early so far this season. Let's have a look at the games coming up, and round 5 is not too far away. That's how quickly things happen in the Tauihi. Wednesday night, Pauakai desperately searching for a win, take on the Hoiho. How good have the Southerners been? The Pauakai in action again on Friday night. They head north to take on the Whai, and then the Queens and the Kahu. Another grand final rematch coming your way on Saturday night.
As I said, there's the tally, the points on the table don't actually really tell how close these teams are matching up competitively on the court, and that the Hoiho have really stepped up from last year. They've been really competitive in this league, where Pauakai haven't won a game yet. So the Whai and Queens tonight, Kahu coming into the capital city on Saturday. It's all go.
It is.
It's all go, Justin.
Love it in Tauihi and Rapid League. There's the starters for the Whai this afternoon. Zagera, Wilson, Cowling, Hirawani and Dale. They are at full strength. The coach is Mel Bennett. Megan, you caught up with her a short time ago. Let's hear her thoughts.
So Coach Bennett, there's nothing in the league this year. All 5 teams seem really competitive. You came off a really tough loss. 2 points to the Hoiho at home on Friday night. How have you turned around 2 days later to come down here to play the Queen?
It's been a quick recovery. Obviously, we arrived in Wellington yesterday, and it's just a matter of pinpointing stages that we could improve on and how we're going to execute our plan tonight. Because we played the Queens before, so we know what we're going to get. Slight changes, though, with Stella Beck coming back into the play, and welcome back to Stella. She's such a professional, but we're up for any challenge.
Both teams are super quick. I think these are the 2 fastest teams in the league. The Queen's guard, Crystalline Carr, is having a season. Who's got the honour of guarding Crystalline tonight?
Well, probably MC, Michaela Cowling, so there's a bit of height differential there, so I think her athleticism and length hopefully will stunt Crystalline a little bit, but she's a professional as well, so I'm sure that the coaching staff of the Queens will combat that too.
Thank you. Good luck tonight.
Big game for Mel Bennett and the Whai this afternoon. Michaela Cowling, what a player she has proven to be over the opening month of the season. Queen starters for today's game, and they do have a big out. Maya Dodson, a late scratch. That news came through as we rolled into the car park. Megan out with a slight ear infection. Not too bad. She will be back in action next week. There she is with her team down on the floor at the moment. Carr, Hunter, Watts, Graham, Truesdale. Josie Truesdale comes in, of course, for Maya Dodson. Grace Hunter gets the start. Stella Beck, the captain, has returned. She's coming off the bench. Let's catch up with Coach Tanya Tupu.
So, Tans, you're coming off a tough road trip down to South Island, down to the Hoiho, but you've had a few days to regroup as a team. What's the focus been this week at training?
Oh, we just put that game behind us and moved forward. Whai's a fantastic team. We played them in round 1 and found that they were very tough. They let it fly, so we have to do a good job on our day tonight.
There's nothing in the league at the moment, and the table is so tight. So is that something you're thinking about going into that?
Yeah, it feels like everything's going down to the 4th quarter, and it's really hard to shake teams. You have to have a good night, otherwise we get left behind. So these guys are tough, and we have to play some good D tonight if we want to get the dub.
And Maya Dodson's out tonight with an ear infection, but you talked about there's a really good opportunity for the youngsters to come in and the New Zealand players to come in. Who are you looking for tonight to step up?
Oh, definitely it will be, I mean, it's a great loss for us tonight not to have that inside presence, but, you know, our Kiwi guys.
Thank you.
Always love watching and listening to you two. Former teammates catching up, Megan. Let's have a look at the TAB head-to-head for this one today. Current form, Queens, great start to the season. The Whai starting to get going. In fact, that's the Rapid League head-to-head. So we'll see if we can find the TAB head-to-head for the Tauihi. Bear with us for just a second. We might have a quick look at the coin officials about to run around. In fact, there we go. How quick was that? Our team right onto it, the Tauihi head-to-head. Both teams coming off losses. The Whai have a few losses, but you just sense after that effort on Friday night, they're starting to click. I'd like to see some more from Aaliyah Wilson today.
Yeah, that is true. It being the 11th draft pick in 2021, I think it was, for the WNBA. We've got, with Maya Dodson out, 3 WNBA draft players on the court today, and the matchup we're seeing just now, I think, is the one that we've all been looking forward to. Kristlyn Carr, what an absolute outstanding player, a really amazing shooting guard, but also leading the team in rebounds. And Cowling is a just incredible player. Looking forward to seeing that matchup.
Coin officials, there they are. Sampan in the middle, local official from Wellington, Corey Hogg, and Amy Jo Clark as well. Interesting to listen to Mel Bennett in the pre-game interviews. The matchup she's going with on Kristlyn Carr, if she's steering us down the right direction, is Michaela Cowling. So Michaela Cowling towers over Kristlyn Carr. Will she be able to contain the speed of Carr?
Well, it's typically when you have a bigger guard on a small guard, it puts the smaller guard at a disadvantage. But Kristlyn Carr is exceptional. She's one of the best talented point guards I've seen in my career, and she's playing here in the Tauihi Basketball Aotearoa League. But we're playing it, she's matching up against an incredibly strong player herself. Well, it's going to be a battle. We'll see which one comes out on top.
And she's only 165 centimetres tall, Kristlyn Carr, but don't let that be any knock whatsoever, because for all the young wahine out there, all the young guards coming through, trying to forge their own way in the game, if you are a little bit shorter, don't worry. Come and have a look at Kristlyn Carr. Her handles, her explosive speed, and her elite talent. She is a player that you need to look up to.
When they talk about basketball is a sport for all shapes and sizes, and right here on the court right now will just prove that.
Ready for a start, Cowling and Truesdell. Truesdell getting the start with Maya Dodson on the sidelines for this one. The Whai with a win in Rapid League. Can they take down the Queens in the capital this afternoon? Wilson to Dale. Here's the Austrian, Sarah Zagera, stepping around Truesdell. First points of the game, draws the foul. She'll head to the TAB.
Oh, the Whai will be ecstatic with that start, win the tip-off, and their strong play inside and drawing a foul from Josie Tisdale.
Got that left knee heavily strapped today. Puts away the bonus, and in the opening 15 seconds, they take a 3-point lead. Can the Queens respond? Here's Carr to Graham. Open three-point shot, little bit short. Zagera, rebound. Off they go. Dale. Back to Zagera, the European. Pulls it out. They start again. Hands it off to Dale. Here's Cowling, first touch of the game. Steph Watts has got that important matchup. Cowling stepping back. Jumper, delightful.
That was a beautiful looking shot. They're leaning back with the elevation just over an outstretched hand by Stephanie Watts.
Here is Watts, talented in her own right. Pick 10, of course, in the WNBA draft.
As we say, it's an impressive amount of talent that's sitting on the court right now. And it's just been blown away by watching the talent rise and rise in the Tauihi League from season 1 to season 2.
Well, you got 2 round 1 draft picks out there. Hirulani, terrific steal. Look away pass inside to the running Wilson, what a miss, and she just cannot find her groove this season. I just spoke about round 1 draft picks. Aaliyah Wilson, pick 11 in the WNBA. She went to the Seattle Storm in 2021. She just hasn't been able to find her feet yet.
Whether or not she's coming back off an injury, or I don't imagine you'd miss a wide open layup. Like, she probably hasn't done that since she was in grade school. But here's the Whai again, all over the place on defense.
Turnovers a problem early for the Queens. Mind you, the Whai may have missed another opportunity to score. They will, in fact, as Grace Hunter takes it away from Wilson. To Watts now, loves a 3. That one way too deep. And
she knows it.
She does know it straight away. Whai lead by 5, early stages of this round 4 contest this afternoon in Porirua. How good is it to see the Queen of Porirua, Grace Hunter, get the start today?
Well, it's good to see her back on the court. She was a standout last year. So have 1 season left to play in the US. It certainly has been impressed upon the Tall Ferns coach, Guy Malloy, with bringing her into the Tall Ferns fold this year.
And she will be going back to the US after this Tauihi season. This is a problematic start at the moment for the Queens. The Whai out by 7. Shot clock down to 3. Chrislyn Carr with the runner along the baseline. Leaves that short, and now the Whai with a chance to extend. Hirawani getting the start today. Here's Cowling. Pulls up the dribble. Dale receives and goes. Zagera now around Truesdell. Just off target. That speed of Chrislyn Carr and just the passing from the Queens. We saw it earlier, actually, Megan, in the Rapid League game, and we're starting to see it unfold here in the opening few minutes. The Queens' passing today has left a little bit to be desired.
And I don't know whether it's that, and it's the Whai seem to be just in the right places at the right time. They're in the passing lanes, but they just seem to be extending their reach and really putting pressure on the passer and the offensive end. Nothing is coming easy for the Queens.
Let's see what Grace Hunter can do here. The Queens still looking to score. The defense extended all the way to the arc. Inside, Carr. Truesdell misses what she probably should have put away.
That was a nice little dish by Chrislyn Carr. She was probably open for the shot as well, but right move to give it to Josie. And
Wilson wide open. Carr had it, lost it. Zagera on the putback. And surely a timeout coming here for the Queens. There it is. 9-0 start to the Whai this afternoon. They have come with a clear intention. They want to climb the Tauihi ladder. They've taken a point in the Rapid League, and they've got off to the best possible start here in Tauihi. Megan Compain.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything you've just said there, Justin. They are running an absolute clinic when it comes to putting on defensive pressure and turning it into offensive points and taking advantage of those opportunities, offensive rebounds, putting the ball away. But the Queens just feel a little bit rattled. They don't tend to start games well. They don't tend to play the first few minutes of the third quarter well, but I have no doubt that they'll start to find their groove.
Queens
Few words for the head coach. Queens
are the highest scoring team in Tauihi, going at 80 points a game. They rank 1. The Whai go at 71.3 a game. They rank 5. The Queens shoot field goals at 43.1%. They rank 1. The Whai go at 36.1%. They rank 5.
When you're looking at those stats, it's leaning in the Queens' favour.
Heavily. That's not what we've seen in the opening few minutes, though. The Queens, 0 of 4 shooting. The Whai, 4 of 7. 5 rebounds to 2. The
and
TAB stats.
We know Maya Dodson's going to make a difference not being on the court, but it does give that opportunity for other players to step up.
Lokatui onto the court now. So too Stella Beck, who just took the shot. And the Queens, yet to score, have missed all 5 shots so far here this afternoon. Zagera backing down Truesdell, stepping around. and ever so close to adding another 2 points.
It's a great backup move there, but good defense by Josie there, and not to give away the foul, and scooped up the rebound.
Watts showing the handles to Beck inside. Truesdell stepping around, and again, back of the iron, not dropping.
But good ball movement by the Queens there.
Oh, Zagera, delightful run at the basket on the putback. Too much juice on that one, spinning off the glass. Nearly 5 minutes gone. No score Queens. Lokatui, corner, Beck, Watts, up fake, did really well, and then Wilson meets her at the basket.
This is exciting basketball, Justin. Like, that is great ball movement by the Queens. Up fake by Steph Watts, got her off her feet, but wow. Aaliyah Wilson coming in for the block, saying no thank you.
Lokatui, good defense. Zagera, who has 2.7 blocks a game. Cowling delivers at the other end, her opening basket of the game. In fact, that's her second. She is one of the top scorers in the competition at a tick under 22 points a game. The lead at 11. Look at the pressure on Carr. Turnover. No, Beck gets it back. The skipper in action somehow gets to the hoop, and they finally have their opening basket of the game. It took 5 minutes and 2 seconds.
And it was an uncomfortable one, but good work by Stella Beck to scoop that up and take advantage of it and put it home. But I think that sometimes you just need to get the lid off the basket.
Well, the lid was on there for a long, long time. They missed their opening 8 shots. Again, Zagera gets inside. Cowling from the deep corner, and she can hit threes. Keep an eye on her. Shooting at 32% from long range this season. Again, extended pressure. 2 players chasing. The speedy Chrislyn Carr in and out.
Well, that's obviously part of Coach Mel Bennett's game plan. Double team Chrislyn, get her on the back foot, and then put that pressure on that next pass. And here's Aaliyah Wilson showing up to play in the Capital.
Well, that's what she can do. Going at just 11 points per game so far this season. She's a much better player than that. Another turnover. Extended pressure. 2 players going to the ball carrier. We saw it there on Steph Watts. There's the Wilson replay. The spin and off the glass. So the Whai coming in with a clear tactic, Megan, and it's working.
It certainly is, and I'm certainly impressed with the defense in the Rapid League. They've just carried it over into this Tauihi game. They have a clear game plan. They're sticking to it, and it's working a treat in this first quarter.
Of course, the coach of the Whai, Mel Bennett, also an underage New Zealand coach. Wilson just gave up what would have been an easy basket for a tougher basket. But the point is, it went down. Kira Sommer with the 3.
Not just another basket, an extra point as well, which takes the lead up to 14 points.
This Queens team is shell-shocked. Dale with the defense on Watts, all over her. Steph Watts, they just can't get inside. Carr launches a long 3, that's well short. Watts gets it back, and the Queens go again. No Maya Dodson. Carr with the miss. That inside presence just isn't there for the Queens.
Which is extending the defense out to the guards so that they can put a lot of pressure on double teaming, but then getting that next person in the lane.
Cannot leave Michaela Cowling open like that. Very lucky not to suffer the consequences, but they get it back to 5. This is an absolute one-way show right now.
And they're having fun doing it.
18-2 in the Capital. Here's Carr, again doubled, picks up the dribble, nowhere to go. Stella Beck just keeps it in play. Here's Paris Mason on the drive against West, draws the foul. We saw that a few times from Paris Mason earlier in the Sky Broadband Rapid League game. 10 points for her in that contest. Here's the replay.
And that's what they're going to want to do if they're putting that much pressure on the ball, double teaming, swing it wide, get it around, and then attack the basket, you should have an open lane because the defense is stretched on the other side of the court.
I'll tell you what's interesting here. Queen's down by 16. Mason at the TAB. They have just subbed out Steph Watts and Chrislyn Carr. So amongst these two teams, just one international player on the floor, Michaela Cowling. Will she take advantage?
I think the Whai have, well, they've got standout individual players. I'm really impressed with the way that they are attacking this game as a group, as a team.
Cowling with the feed to West, who's called for the charge.
Good heads-up play by Stella Beck. That's where her experience comes into play.
She's taken a few of them over the years, hasn't she? Has missed the opening few weeks of the season, Stella Beck. There's a replay, and well set. Mason. Again, the pressure enormous from the Whai. Shot clock is already at 12. This extended pressure is giving the Queens barely a look late on the shot clock. That would have helped off the hand of Hunter. Tegan Graham now can hit threes. That one is off target. Lokatui with the rebound, fumbles. And Zagera about to come back onto the floor for the Whai. They're out by 15. Lots of opportunities here.
You've got to love Paris Lokatui's work on the boards. She's such a strong presence underneath, but good to see her getting some good rebounds.
Queens, 1 of 14 shooting. Foul on Grace Hunter.
We like to think a team that's shooting close to 50% from the field goal range for the first few games of the season.
Well, they're number one in the league. They're number one in the league.
For the whole game. But again, you put that down to the pressure that the Whai have come out with on a defensive end.
Well, I think it's a great point you make, Megan. Zagera, nowhere to go. Kirasome here, hands it off to the Austrian. One way, then the other, spinning. Got to get a late shot up here. They do, and they make. Kirasome with a dagger against the Queens. Margin 18.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than for a team on Paris coming to the lane. She's having a lot of success drawing the fouls underneath with her drives to the basket. She's the only one that seems to be able to penetrate and getting past her defense. But just saying, the other end of the court, you play a really good 23 seconds of heads-up defense basketball and someone nails a three.
Well, what the Queens are failing to do here at the moment, Megan, is get it into the corners. They're being pushed up high off the top of the arc. That double-team defense is working a treat on the ball for the Whai, and the passes are literally going left or right by a metre or two. They've got players waiting in the corners. They need to find the corners and stretch that defense.
And there lies in the attack to the basket where they won't have the chance to get on the help defense because they're overloading on the ball.
A domination in this first quarter by the visitors from Tauranga. Long time in the key for Jade Kirasome. Zagera, offensive rebound. Here's Young, Hokianga. Oh, I love this kid. What she is doing in this competition has been so much fun to watch this season. 15 years of age, Lokatui responds, draws the foul against the youngster. She'll head to the TAB. But Megan, as a former tall fern, a former Olympian, a former WNBA player, tell me what you think of young Payless Hokianga.
I'm speechless. She's 15 years old, and the way she's playing against professional athletes, professional women who've been playing in the NCAA, playing in the WNBA, playing overseas in Europe is just incredible. The confidence with this player matched with the skill set. I'm just noticing your phone here, and Coach Guy Malloy is obviously watching this game very closely and is suitably impressed with the young talent coming out of the Whai also. And that signals the end of one of the most lopsided first quarters I think we've witnessed in Tauihi Basketball Aotearoa.
No doubt. The current champs are on the ropes. The Whai lead 26-7. They're off to a flyer this afternoon here in Porirua. Quick break, second quarter not too far away. Stick with us. In fact, we're going to stay here with us. The Whai out by 19. Megan, your thoughts on that opening quarter?
It's tough, and you know when you're in it that you just have to ride it out to a certain point. At some stage, the shots are going to fall. At some stage, you are going to find those open players because the Whai are playing a very aggressive double team style defense that does put a lot of pressure on the ball, but it also leaves a lot of gaps. And if the Queens can work out how to find those gaps, how to get that ball out of the double team quickly to the other side of the court, then they can get some of those open jump shots, start hitting some shots, start getting to the hole, start getting some points on the board. But you cannot take anything away from this Whai team. They are playing like championship caliber team right now. Is spreading the load, even point scoring, and defensively just incredibly impressive.
Let's have a look at the TAB stats to quarter time here. Jade Kirasome with 8 points leading the way for the Whai. Michaela Cowling has 6 points of her own. For the Queens, the cupboard has been left pretty bare. Paris Lokatui with 3 points in that opening quarter. Whai lead the rebounds 13-9, but it is all about the shooting. The Whai 11 of 20 at 55% in that opening quarter. The Queens 2 of 16 at just 12%. All the stats brought to you by the official stats partner of Tauihi, the TAB. Second quarter ready to go. The Queens with a lot of work to do, coming off that 17-point loss to the Hoi Ho, where, of course, great basket. I just wanted to stick with the play there because that is classic Stella Beck.
Isn't it, Justin? She said coming into this game that she was going to take it easy, and she didn't feel like she'd shot a ball in so long, so she was feeling a bit rusty, but you said those words, she's a competitor, so she's going to come out and compete, and she surely did.
Well, that is Stella Beck coming out after quarter time, the captain, her team down by 19, getting the ball in her hands and saying, "Rightio, I've got to do what captains do." Great start to the second quarter, converts. I was just saying about the Queens, that loss to the Hoi Ho during the week, they went down by 17. It included a 27-0 run by the Hoi Ho. And we've seen not the same, but a similar burst of scoring by the Whai against this Queens defence. It's something to keep an eye on this season for mine.
Oh, it certainly is, and because we know that the Queens can fight back, and they know that they have offensive weapons in a lot of players. In saying that, just noting the two imports starting on the bench.
Still on the sidelines, they are for the Queens.
A great drive there by Gracie Hunter, talking about local players who have decided that we're not going to take this quarter.
Cowling, Zagera on Mason. To the corner. Jade Kirasom has really been impressive so far in this game. She's got 10 points now.
She's leading all scorers with 10 points. Great little up fake there because she's so dangerous from behind the arc. Of course you're going to go running at her like Paris Lokatui found herself in.
Here's Cowling. Zagera can't keep it in. Sarah Zagera is an interesting story. 27 years of age, out of Austria, 190 centimetres, went to Stetson University, where she is the all-time blocks leader with 213, 7th all-time rebounds with 717, and has already played pro ball, there she is, in Spain, Poland and Italy. A much-travelled player, still 27 years of age. Lokatui.
Great little dish by Paris Mason then. Again, she's finding her way to the basket.
Here is Zagera. Cowling, draft pick to the Connecticut Sun. Back to the European. that one halfway in and out.
It was certainly indeed. The Whai certainly have found their range from long, but we know that Tegan Graham can shoot threes. There's her answer right then. Coach Mel Bennett on the sideline about to call a timeout.
And I like this timeout because Tegan Graham, here it is on the GJ Gardner Homes replay. Beck hands it off, provides some cover, and the shot went down. What we do know about Tegan Graham is she's a player that plays on emotion and excitement. She gets herself up, and the little fist pump after that shot went down.
You knew she was into it, absolutely.
I'll tell you who's into it, Queen T.
Isn't she great?
The mascots around the league are always impressive, and I love what the Queens have done with their official mascot, Queen T. We saw it last season. It's great to have Queen T back with us.
Great to have her back, and you know what? I missed her last game. The game against the Poakai. It was very noticeable she wasn't around. I had a chat to her. She had a pulled calf. I said, you better go talk to the Queen's physio and sort that out, because we missed you on the court.
I've got to tell you, the crowd here in the capital loves Queen T. The Whai lead by 13. Some of the fans in the stands here this afternoon.
Well, they'll be wanting to see a little bit more of that style of basketball that we just opened up with, those 2 minutes. The first 2 minutes of the second quarter, the Queens have more than doubled the points that they got in the first quarter.
Sell the Super Special, you just saw it on screen there. You know what to do. Grab yourself
a pepperoni.
Yep, this week's special, and enjoy. Speaking of enjoying, Michaela Cowling up to 8 points in the game. Good response out of the timeout by the Whai.
You just watch an athlete like her, and when she gets on a roll, when she gets the ball in her hand going to the basket, there's not much you're going to be able to do about it.
She's another player headed straight to Europe off the back of this season in New Zealand. Wilson, good defense on Lokatui. Here's Cowling. Can light things up quickly. Zagera, great pass inside to Hirawani.
Great look underneath the basket. That's again the Whai really knowing where their players are in transition and making the conversion off another good defensive stop.
Well, what they've done, Megan, is they've come out of that timeout, and off the back of that Tegan Graham three, I did say at the time, I like that timeout by Mel Bennett. Don't give the Queens a run. Let's have a quick chat about it. They've come out of that timeout and hit back-to-back baskets.
They certainly have, and in style. Here we go. This is Steph Watts back on the court. Paris Lokatui going off, and she should be pretty proud of her efforts.
Chrislyn Carr and Steph Watts yet to score in this game. Carr goes at 23 points a game. Watts at 19 points a game. Neither has scored. Truesdell off the glass draws the foul on Hirawani.
It was a good heads-up look by Stella and recognised the mismatch underneath with the switch. And Josie finishing it off for the and one.
Well, the two tall ferns have done that many times over the last decade, Truesdell and Beck. Truesdell with the miss from the TAB.
Just looking at stats, none of the 5 teams in the league are shooting particularly well from the free throw run, from the TAB stripe this season. It's one of my pet peeves, Justin. These are points that are just gimmies.
I know. I know.
We've talked about this many a time.
I see you frown every time. Hirawani with the miss. Chrislyn Carr still looking to get her first points of the game. Oh, Truesdell.
Great hustle by Josie under the basket, and that's what she's been brought in to do.
And they may be rewarded. No, they're not, as Beck bounces that one out from deep.
You can just see the Queens have certainly come into the second quarter with a little bit of pep in their step.
Block. Stella Beck doing it at both ends of the floor in this second quarter. Margin at 15. Queens have made life tough for themselves. Steph Watts back of the iron.
Just so close, aren't they? Those are the gimmies that Steph is used to hitting, but nothing's going their way beyond the arc. 1 of 10
from deep on the TAB stat sheet. For the Queens, McKenna Dale had 32 points in the opening game for the Whai this season. We know she can light it up. 8 triples in that one against the Poakai. Tegan Graham looking for a foul. Pulls up the shot and gets the friendly roll.
Good effort, Tegan, to keep going. Hanging off her.
They were down by 19 at quarter time. Wilson off the glass. That's the draft pick number 11 player we expected to see this season.
Certainly was, going head-to-head, one-on-one with Stella Beck and made it look easy.
Here is Beck. Slipping through. Graham back out. Carr can hit a triple, gives it off to Steph Watts. Right, left. Truesdell draws another foul. Josie Truesdell just starting to find her rhythm in this game. Good find by Steph Watts as Truesdell dived to the basket. She finds herself at the TAB.
They're certainly not giving much away for the guards. And normally Steph doesn't have too much trouble getting to the hole, but the Whai again just cutting off those guards in the drive and doing a great job keeping everything really out wide for the Queens.
Just looking at the front of the Queen's singlet there, Ansco Foods, their naming rights partner. I was on a flight yesterday. I was on a couple of flights yesterday, and I picked up the Kia Ora magazine, Air New Zealand, and
Lily Taulele.
Lo and behold, there's a big story in there, double-page spread on the Queen's Lily Taulele, who's over at the University of Massachusetts now. Cowling hits 2. And their naming rights partner, Ansco Foods. So great promotion and coverage for not just the Queens, but the Tauihi competition as well.
I absolutely agree, and I think that's what's exciting about the partners that are coming on board on this league. And Josie Truesdell, great work, great get, great finish. The partners that are coming in on this league, really investing in the teams, investing in promotion is the way that you start to build the commercial viability of these teams and the fandom, and get out to see them out and about, and it's really exciting with blue chip partners like Ansco.
Well, we saw Ansco, and we saw Bank of New Zealand have joined the Kahoo. Here's Wilson. She's just starting to heat up, isn't she? Draws the foul there on Grace Hunter. More importantly, it gave me something to read on the flight. As you know, I take a lot of flights, and it's good to have something to read every now and again.
What do you do when you've already read it and then you've still only the 4th of August?
That's true.
It's a long 31 days in August there, Justin.
There's Wilson at the TAB.
Doesn't miss those.
You're such a party pooper, Megan Champagne. 15-point margin midway through the second here. GJ Gardner Holmes at Tauihi, live on Sky Sport every game. Hope you're enjoying it this season. And it is such a quick season as well, already at round 4.
There they go in the passing lanes. Again, McKenna Dale getting her hands on the ball. They're just, every time they do that, stops the flow of play for the Queens. Gets them out of that rhythm.
There's Tegan Graham. Finds some space around the screen set by Truesdell. That shot in and out. They need every basket to drop right now. 8 of 29 shooting for the Queens. This quarter's been a lot better than the first. They're 1 of 11 from deep. Zagera stepping back. Too deep on the shot. Wilson kept it alive, but straight into the waiting hands of Steph Watts, who can get to the hoop.
And does. Saw that she had her head down. She saw the lane and went for it. One thing the Queens are doing better at this quarter of the game, they're not giving up those second chance opportunities as much. There's a great box out there, which leads then to a foul on a layup down the other end.
Believe it or not, Steph Watts, that was her first point of the game.
Someone that's averaging close to 20 points a game and could be a prolific scorer as she is. And credit to the Whai defense.
And can shoot the 3-ball as well. She's been well held so far here this afternoon, and credit indeed to the Whai and what they've done defensively. Most impressive, both here and earlier in the Rapid League game. Cowling on that turnaround. Can't complete underneath. McKenna Dale is there to mop it up. And that's the first points here for McKenna Dale in this one.
Just as I was saying, the offensive rebound work, the Queens doing better, giving up those easy layups.
Watts, Truesdale inside, falls to Cowling, left, right, out to the corner, Highland. Well, it was high, that's for sure, the shot.
The Queens want to run it.
Here's
Gracie
Hunter.
was looking up.
Well, she's trying to make something happen, isn't she? Carr, again, attracts plenty of attention. Truesdale, turn around, this time unable to find the target.
A good job of pushing her out just a little bit higher than she'd like to be. Unlucky to not come away with another 2 points there by the Whai, but hustling back at the other end.
Well, they've done that impressively, haven't they? Carr turning it over to young Highland, who may hit a triple. Leaves the shot short. McKenna Dale rebound. Well, the Queens are just lost defensively at the moment, and they're made to pay. Cowling sitting out on the wing all by herself. The Queens have been noted so far this season, probably by all others, as being the fittest team in the competition. They look completely gassed right now.
I just think they look a little bit shell-shocked, like I said before, at whether they... Yeah, they're just a little bit off on the offense, and yeah, Kristlyn Carr turning the ball over on the drive there by young Anika Halen coming through is very unusual, and you can tell it's getting to them.
Well, what the Queens have done is they've called a Sky City player timeout here just to compose themselves and probably to talk about that defense. If you want some tickets to the big game, they are free, they are available, and they're there with thanks to Sky City. There's the QR code on screen. Get your community, school or sporting group together and come out and enjoy some fantastic pro-level women's basketball here in Aotearoa with thanks to Sky City. Back underway. Let's have a look at what they've chatted about as they are down by 18. Mason draws the foul on Cowling.
Paris Mason putting her head down, going against the import. Not backing down. She's having a really good success getting to the line. She's one that's kind of keeping the offense in motion when she's out there, Paris.
Well, she's already drawn 3 fouls in this game. She drew 4 fouls in the Rapid League game, was 6 of 6 from the TAB. As she puts that one away. So she spent plenty of time at the stripe here this afternoon, Paris Mason. Brings that margin back to 17. McKenna Dale on the turnaround. There's a foul over the back there against Anika Highland. Or is it? Yes, it is.
Good box out by Kristlyn Carr. Can't imagine she's happy with how things are going for her. She'll go to the stripe.
Well, she hasn't scored, Kristlyn Carr.
No, she's held scoreless.
She averages 23 points and 9 rebounds a game. So far here today, no points, 1 rebound. It has been a telling factor of this first half. One of the very best players in the competition has been ineffective, and that is, as you keep saying, Megan, credit to this team in pink.
Credit to the team in pink, credit to the defensive effort. They've had a game plan. Coach Mel Bennett should be commended for her efforts in the Rapid League and the first half of this Tauihi game. They've had a game plan, particularly on the defensive end. It's sticking to it, and it's working out. Now, as you say, the opportunity then to adjust at halftime and try to attack things slightly differently. And we know that players like Steph Watts, like Kristlyn Carr, they've been held point scoreless in the first half. That doesn't stay that long. That doesn't stay that way, usually, for these kinds of top-class players.
Sal's Hoopheads, join us every Wednesday night from 8 p.m. on Sky Sport as we talk all things basketball. Join us around the desk, always fun and games on Sal's Hoopheads. Hope to have you with us on Wednesday. Good crowd in attendance. The Queens do a fantastic job of bringing local basketball fans to games, as of course the Saints do here in the capital during the Sal's NBL season as well. So 1:35 to play. Queens with a lot of work to do It has been a very impressive first half by the Whai, as Chrislyn Carr, believe it or not, puts away her first point of the game. And perhaps doubles that. She does now with her second point of the game. So the margin sits at 15, 90 seconds to play in this first half. McKenna Dale off target, Chrislyn Carr up the floor quickly, senses the urgency to Mason, didn't go for the basket, went back to Carr, and gee, I think young Paris Mason would like to have that decision back again if she could. Here's the replay, just elected not to go up.
Yes, saw the outstretched hands of Cowling and thought better of it, but it resulted in the turnover, so a bit of a wasted opportunity there for the Queens coming up into the end of the second quarter.
Been so much to like about the Whai today. Earlier on, Palace Hokianga. Right now, Michaela Cowling gives that one up, does she? She does. Queens get it back.
A good defensive effort there with Michaela going to work with the crossovers. Gosh, she's an athlete, isn't she?
Well, I know that there's been some Australian WNBL interest in Michaela Cowling. She is headed to Europe after this season, though. Mason trying to maintain possession here against Cowling, who in the end just steps into her and commits the foul. And Michaela Cowling is
shaking her head,
pleading her innocence, but nothing innocent about that. Here it is on the replay. Megan, how did you see it?
Well, I think it was a frustration, launched by Paris, because Michaela was all over her when she was dribbling out the front, but good presence of mind by Paris to just stick with it. And she's doing such a good job tonight, or this afternoon.
Well,
getting to the line.
Across the Rapid League and Tauihi, that's her 13th shot from the TAB today.
Don't tell me how many she's made.
She's made 10 of them.
Okay, I can live with that. Good work, Paris.
Make it 11 of 14.
Make it 11. We like those stats.
Stats, of course, in Tauihi, proudly brought to you by the TAB. 38 seconds to play here in the opening half. The Whai have come to the capital on a mission as Wilson adds 2. She's up to 8 points. Good signs from her today.
Great signs from her. She says she's had a couple of quiet games to start out the season, but she feels like she's got her groove on.
Chrislyn Carr, 0 of 5 from the field. Mason, it opens up. She flicks it off. Truesdell misses everything. Mason unable to put it back. And a Sky City player timeout called by the Whai. In fact, it might have been Mel Bennett screaming to Aaliyah Wilson
to call the...
Of course, only the player in possession on the floor can call a player timeout, and it's only the players involved. They come together, teams can't sub. We saw it for the first time in Tauihi last season. We saw it in the Sal's NBL this season. And I think by and large, across both leagues, fans, players, viewers, they like it.
They do, and I was just thinking about it from a player's perspective. It is great, but it is such a new innovation. I'm sure that they forget when they do remember what a great opportunity to take advantage of 3.5 seconds. Big difference being in your own half versus being up the other end of the court.
And we have seen variations of timeouts across the world. We believe it's a world's first. The Sky City player timeout, and the Whai can't capitalise on this occasion, but they do lead by 15 at the half. Most impressive, they were out by 19 at quarter time, so the Queens marginally getting that deficit down, but they've got a lot of work to do. Chrislyn Carr held to 2 points, Steph Watts held to 2 points, and they're shooting at just 24%. Maybe Josie Truesdell can enlighten us as to what's happening with the Queens. Here she is with Megan Compain.
Josie, tough start, tough first quarter, but you guys came back around the second quarter. What's the story for the second half?
They started off in really disruptive defense, so we're just taking a breath and getting back to our own pace and executing our offense.
Okay, thank you. I'll let you go. We're here with Good, Michaela. Nice to meet you. Hey, great first half. You guys have a game plan for defense. What's it going to look like in the second half?
I think it's been really disruptive. You know, we're a really quick team, we're pretty athletic, so we want to get in their space, make them uncomfortable, get some good stops, get some good deflections.
Now, do you know you've held Kristen Carter 0 points this game? She has been averaging over 20. That's got to be a focus for you for the second half.
Yeah, she's a great player. I know that she's one of the key players in that team. She makes them go, so we want to zero in on her and make sure we limit her touches.
I'll get you back to the locker room. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Megan. Thanks to Josie and Michaela as well. No field goals for Kristen Carr in that first half. Just the 2 points for her from the TAB stripe. A game dominated by the Whai, some of their best basketball of season 2023. And when we return here at Rauparaha Arena, we will be taking a deep dive into the TAB stats. At the half, the Whai lead by 15. Don't go away.
So basically, these units have to spell iron, and right over here you have to spell zinc, and right here you have to spell lamb, and right over this side you have to spell beef. I like it. So what they have to do is go down, score a basket, bring back the letter, and keep on spelling those 4-letter words. So, and so foods, are you guys ready? Kids, are you guys ready? You guys ready? You guys look very good basketball there. I like it. Does everyone play hoops here? Everyone play basketball? Yeah, I love it. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, are you guys ready? Remember, you have to make a basket. Then grab the letter, then come back. Guys, please make some noise for these youth. These youth here doing their thing. Make some noise. Right, true. Pretty cool. Okay, fine. Are you ready, guys? Yeah, are you ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go! Bust. Oh! So right, doing your thing. You have to make the basket. Oh, there you go. Grab your letter and spell the word. Grab your letter. Spell the word. So right, come on, wait for that basket, my friend. That's alrighty. Let's go food. It's alright. Keep on making that basket. So good. I like it. Here we go. Making that basket. Are you guys ready? You got the free throw now. Alright.
Whoa. To make sure these signs in front of the benches.
Okay, here we go, guys. Please keep on making some noise to these young kids. Make some noise like, hey! You're doing an awesome job. So here we go. We got 3 for Bruce. We got 7. And the winning team. And the winning baskets are here. I like it. Alrighty. I guess I'm watching kids play basketball. It's such a beautiful thing. And, oh, Shivers, we got a winner. Okay. Hold up, Taiwan. Keep it going. So, who was the first team to make the word?
Welcome back to Porirua. Halftime today. GJ Gardner Holmes, Tauihi. The young queens are in the house. One thing we always see here at Rauparaha is the Queens fans turning up in colour, in dress up, and with smiles, having fun. Great to see our young wahine out enjoying pro-level women's basketball. And although the Queens trail at halftime, no doubt the young Hoops fans have been impressed with the Whai. They lead 45-30. Megan Compain, take us through the TAB stats.
I would say the telling sign is the shooting percentage. 62% from the 2-point line that the Whai are shooting right now behind Michaela Cowling's 13 points, but a really even point spread there for the Whai. The But what's telling again is the Queens just have not started firing. No one in double figures, and the two imports that are on the court sharing points between them.
Yeah, at the moment it is a problem, isn't it? Chrislyn Carr with just the 2 points, Steph Watts with 2, and between them, all of those points have come at the TAB line. So they are 0 of 9 from the field, and respectively, Carr with 5 shots, Steph Watts with 4 shots. They're just not getting enough looks.
No, they're not, and we keep talking about it. It's coming down to the Whai's defense, and we heard from Michaela, they had a plan going in. They knew that they had 2 guards on the Queens team that could shoot the ball, a dynamic, push it fast. They've decided to get up and put pressure on and double team the ball handler, and it's working well for them, and the stats aren't lying.
So can the reigning champs turn things around? They've got a long way to go. In fact, 13 of their 30 points in this game, so nearly half, have come from the free throw line. It is tough going this afternoon for the Queens. All credit to the Whai. They take the points in the first half. Can they do the same in the second? Smiles at the moment for Aaliyah Wilson. She's back on that bike. We saw this on Friday night. She could seriously do the Tour de France. That's how much time she spends on the bike. Half-time here. Round 4 action in Tauihi. The Whai lead by 15. Quarter number 3 coming up on the other side of the break. See you soon.
I'm going to sing you another song. Hello. So normally what I normally do is sing songs for a living. So yeah. So all I need you guys to do is, you're going to say, Floyd, Floyd, okay? That's a song, but I'm going to play it for you in 3 more minutes. Got 3 minutes to go. Okay, what you got? Okay. This song is called Scream from the Old Plantation. Shout outs going down to the Tokomanawa each and every day. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. I learned to my wrong. I'm from over there, Utah, Alabama, and if you can sing along with me, don't do it, just don't do it. Every next time, don't do it. Sassy, you are talking so. They play selector for the daddy.
Welcome back to Porirua this afternoon. Tauihi action, pro women's basketball. The Whai lead by 15. Queens without Maya Dodson today. There she is on screen, out with a ear infection, we believe, but from all reports internally at the Queens, she will be right to go when they take on the Kahu next Saturday. No doubt they've missed her. When these two teams met earlier this season, the Queens taking down the Whai in Tauranga 89-66. Maya Dodson, the game high scorer with 23 points. Megan Compain.
Oh, I've just been visited by it. That's all good. Hello, my little one's just come to visit. But yes,
if the camera could see this right now.
Oh no, Maya Dodson is a big miss for the Queens out there on the court, not just offensively but defensively as well.
There we go. Have a look at this.
Away, but the camera
this is your young bloke, Emil, and he wants to become a commentator by the looks of it.
He certainly does, but I better get on and get doing my job, my friend, so I will catch up with you soon, all right? Go get some chips or something.
Oh, you got to love that.
Ice cream.
Got to love that. Who needs to talk about Maya Dodson when we can talk about a budding young commentary career for Emil Compain? That's amazing.
But we should just talk about Josie has certainly had a good first half. She's making the most of the chances that she's getting underneath, and she's leading all point scorers.
For the Queens,
For the Queens with 6.
So can the Queens get themselves back into this one? They trailed by 15. The margin at quarter time was 19. The Whai will get the first look. Cowling, Zagera, little up fake. Beck there to meet her once and twice, but it won't matter. She scores.
Great move. On the footwork there underneath is certainly exceptional. It looks very European, reminiscent of playing a lot of those European teams.
Here's Beck inside, around Cowling. Can't get it to drop. It was a tough shot in the end.
Yeah, unlucky. Really good look for Stella Beck going down the other way.
Wilson. Oh, Lokatui just took it out of her hands, as did Kira Som, who looked like she was fouled. Queens lucky to get it back. Here's Carr. As we said, just not shooting enough at the moment. Lokatui is down behind play, and I think it's just a cramp in her left calf by the looks of it. You can see she's got that.
It is strapped up.
Black strapping, yep. So nothing serious here for Lokatui. Her teammates head back to help her back to her feet. Let's have a look at the GJ Gardner Holmes replay. There it is, just stepping up. She felt it straight away on that left calf, and I wonder if it is a little bit more than a cramp, whether she has a muscle issue there. Yep.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised. And she didn't go down clutching in too much pain, but it was obviously in the same spot that she's got taped up, so it might be something that she is managing at the moment with her calves.
Importantly, not what the Queens need. No Steph Watts to start this second half either. That's a concern. Truesdell with a miss.
In and out.
So there's a lot of stories unfolding here for the reigning champs. Dodson out sick. Steph Watts starting the second half on the bench. McKenna Dale with the basket. Back-to-back baskets to start this third quarter for the Whai.
Strong drive there.
Lokatui with a calf issue. It's going to be a long week in the capital, you think?
Well, bodies on the ground already start out this third quarter, but how about McKenna Dale starting out the second half? Lovely drive down coast to coast. Could have even forgiven yourself for thinking that she may have got a little bit of a push there at the end to finish the play. Stella Beck taking a breather.
Steph Watts onto the floor now, so she's back out there for the Queens. Carr, Graham, Truesdell, and again, just hands in lanes. The number of deflections we have seen today by the Whai in Rapid League and in Tauihi has been quite extraordinary.
It is extraordinary, and what it does is, even though the ball goes back to the Queens, it takes them off of their set play. Like the shot clock's wound down, you're out of sequence.
Just
there
like
you go,
that.
shot clock violation. And it also makes you think anytime you're passing to an open player, you actually start to hesitate because you just expect that they're going to be there and that hands are going to be in the lane. It's so disruptive.
Well, what you're talking about couldn't have been more profound as an example with what we just saw with the Queens. And now Wilson back the other way, rolls in another 2. Again, a little bit like the first quarter, Megan. This is one-way traffic.
Hasn't she just found her groove? But great little jumper by Grace Hunter. We saw her do that a lot last year. Hasn't had too many opportunities to shoot the ball this season. Great to see her start to knock that down. But talk about Aaliyah Watson starting to find her stride. Just getting to the hole and having no one really getting in her way.
It's been much better today from Wilson, hasn't it? 10 points in the game. Here's Carr, unable to get going, her quietest game of the season. And again, that pressure extended by the Whai forced another turnover. Graham missing the pass.
I just say again, that swing to the side's off. The ball underneath, the player underneath looks open, but there's someone always on it.
I'll tell you what is happening this afternoon as we progress through this game. The coaching staff at the Hoiho, the Puakai and the Kahu are watching this defensive effort of the Whai, and they'll be mindful of it when they play the Whai, but they'll equally be reminding themselves of it when they play the Queens.
Well, I think it's one of those things that you can scout for after the fact, right? When you're starting to break down that tape and when you're seeing the pressure on the ball, you're going to also see where the gaps are. So if you know where they are, then you can be a bit more aggressive in trying to swing that ball and cut the, get the ball wide, swing it to the far side and start to attack the defensive that way.
Here's Watts, tries to thread the gap. Again, turnover, great hand Cowling to Dale, has Carr in front of her, just pushes her off, turns to the basket, finishes with ease, and now Steph Watts is down behind play, and this looks a lot more serious. This is a left ankle issue for Steph Watts. Let's have a look at it here on the turn. Oh, there it is. Cowling just crashing in to her left leg. Saw it clearly there, and Watts is off the floor. Good news is she is walking off under her own steam. That looked nasty.
Yeah, it's one of those unfortunate ankles getting caught underneath the body, falling over.
Well, this is bad to worse stuff for the Queens at the moment as Hunter misses from range and the Whai take advantage again. Quickly up the floor. Grace Hunter leaning in on Jade Kirasome. Here's the replay.
Just a bit aggressive with the dropping the shoulder. Doing a good job before that to get in front. I noticed that she was tasked with guarding Aaliyah Wilson before. And same thing, just getting caught up high.
Well, another offensive rebound for the Whai, and they put it to good use. Cowling is fouled. She'll head to the TAB line. Sarah Zagera just all over it, trying to win it back for her team. That's the stuff that coaches love to see.
She may not have the stat line of some of the others, but she's certainly a force when she's on the court. She forces a lot of things. She's very dangerous with the ball too, so you know that she can score. I'm sure that opens the lines up for other players.
Cowling adds another couple. She moves to 15 in the game. She is nursing 4 fouls at the moment. Of course, 6 personal fouls this season in Tauihi. As we get to see the stars on the court for longer.
That
Truesdell.
Rotation defense.
Well, it's been a highlight, hasn't it? Another turnover and another opportunity for the Whai. Margin at a game-high 22. Graham, Truesdell inside. Zagera with the foul over the back. I don't think she'll worry too much about that.
Not when she's only got 1 foul that she's given, so it only takes her up to 2.
Paris Mason coming back on the floor for the Queens, but they are battered and bruised right now. Dodson missing from the game completely. Steph Watts on the sidelines with an ankle injury. Chrislyn Carr has barely bothered the TAB stat sheet.
And Paris Lokatui going off with a
calf
tight
injury,
hopefully. Not anything more serious.
The worry there
Extended defense
for Lokatui was it was already taped up. A miss there from Grace Hunter. Well, talk to us, Megan, about this defense of the Whai. You have spoken about it throughout the game, but what we've seen is a very focused game plan being executed to perfection.
they have. They're using their height as well. When you look at the overall stacking next to each other, they do have the height advantage. Typically, sometimes that can mean you're a bit slow, but they have had nothing but speed at that transition. Unlucky by Grace Hunter. It's the right idea. When the ball gets moved and they're double teaming, that next player that comes over has been so fast in getting to that obvious next pass to disrupt that pass, to get in that passing lane, either by forcing a tip and resetting the play, or actually stealing the ball, or forcing the Queens into a turnover.
Let's not forget when these two teams met for the first time this season, the Queens won by 23. So at the moment, it's a 45-point turnaround from that game. That is telling. McKenna Dale has a week and a half to look at that shot, and Julie knocks it down as she should. She is an elite shooter, and with the time and space that she was afforded by the Queens, that one was never going to miss. Here's Graham on the drive, pulls up, can't put it down. Margin at 25. Queens, who average 80 points a game, midway through the third, have 33. Timeout called. Tanya Tupu has seen enough. What a run here by the Whai. 15-3 run to start the third quarter. Speaking of the Kia Ora magazine on Air New Zealand flights, it's going to be a very happy flight home for the Whai tonight. Not sure the magazine's going to get too much of a look in.
No, they talked to Coach Mel Bennett. They are on a flight straight after this game to get back home to Tauranga. Judging by the scoreline, that's a big ask to claw this back for the Queens. Close to 27 points down and with 4 minutes to play in the third quarter, so...
I don't want to be a glass half empty person.
I don't want to be a glass half empty person.
This margin may differ, but the win will go the way of the Whai today. The way that they're playing, it would be an unbelievable turn in fortunes for them to lose this one. The highlight show for the GJ Gardner Homes Tauihi, not the Cells NBL, but that's all right. We love the Cells NBL as well. Make sure you check out the highlight show during the week. Chrislyn Carr still on 2 points. Steph Watts off injured with just 2 points. No Queens starter in double digits. No Queens player in double digits. They're shooting 9 of 41 at 21%. Believe it or not, 1 of 12 shooting from beyond the arc. The Whai, 25 of 53 at 47%. They're leading the rebounds 33 to 26. It has been some sort of a show this afternoon by the team from Tauranga. They've got 3 players in double-digit scoring as well.
And I don't mean to go on about it, but I will. The defensive effort, the Queens aren't shooting poorly. They're not getting open shots because of the extended defense, because of the pressure that this Whai defense has been putting on these shooters, been putting on the drive to the basket. They're getting to the line. They're actually, when they're shooting, when they're actually scoring their points, is because they've managed to get themselves to the hoop, draw the foul and get to the line. Other than that, they haven't had an open look because of this defense.
Well, this is a championship winning outfit. And at the moment, probably the poorest performance we've seen from the team in black. But they do have 14 minutes to turn things around, and they start to do that through Paris Mason.
And you love to see that when you're coming off a timeout as a coach, as a player's aggressive drive to the basket by Stella Beck, just couldn't quite get it to go, but Paris Mason there to clean it up.
60 to 34, only added a point then, so maybe just a correction on the score taking place.
I think the Queens will take every point that they can get.
Turnover.
Great steal by Stella, getting in the passing lanes.
What can the Tall Ferns skipper create out of this? Graham, great cut to the basket, draws the foul. That gets the crowd up and going.
Certainly got the bench up and going too. Good little pass from Paris Mason there. She's doing it. The scoring, getting an assist on this one, but what a strong cut by Tegan Graham and a great finish with the foul to take her to the stripe.
Just want to get back to No Dodson today. There is the Queen's coaching staff, Sam Toomey sitting alongside head coach Tanya Tupu. Just getting back to Maya Dodson, that inside presence. And I know, look, Josie Truesdale has certainly been doing all she can inside. So taking Dodson out of that middle at both ends of the floor, for me, it has exposed the Queens in many ways. Inside, outside ball offensively, rim protector, shot blocker defensively. It has been telling.
Well, it is, and I think you can then, the knock-on effect of that is the pressure that Chrislyn Carr is facing.
Well, there's a great example. Ball in to Zagera, inside ball, back outside, open shooter. Wilson converts the three. That's exactly what I'm saying back the other way with No Dodson today. Score won't count, by the way. Unlucky for the Whai just after the buzzer. So no basket for Wilson, but a good example of what we're talking about.
100%, and the knocking it down at the other end. But what Maya Dodson does inside as well is stretch the defense away from the guards who are just carrying this pressure because they can stretch out. The Whai aren't as worried about what's underneath the basket. And that's no disrespect to Josie Truesdale, who's doing a great job. There's Paris Mason on the drive again.
Up and under, Zagera, good defense. Queens get it back. Mason stuck in the corner. Pass inside, Tegan Graham. Good setup, good finish.
And that's what does tend to happen when you play an extended defense like that. You start to get that back door moving, and that's what Tegan's actually worked out in those last two plays down the court, that she's got her defense on the back foot and she's cut and made those strong baskets to the middle. Wilson keeping it alive off the hand of Mason. We heard in the pre-game from Whai coach Mel Bennett that Cowling was going to get the job on Carr. I don't think it's quite worked out that way. Can we give a call out defensively to Jade Kirasome? She's been playing some minutes on Chrislyn Carr this afternoon, and boy, has she done a great job again. Shot clock goes off for the Whai. That's two good defensive stops in a row by the Queens, backed up with two backdoor layups by Tegan Graham. There's a little bit of a change of pace here. That's the Chrislyn Carr that we've been missing. First field goal of the game for Chrislyn Carr. First time. She's been doing that with ease so far this season. The Whai have held her up for so long as Cowling nearly gets it to go. Does draw the contact and will revisit the TAB. How strong is that drive to the hoop? Watch this, just like an explosive move. Oh, she's an elite talent, make no mistake about that. Pick 33 at the 2018 WNBA draft to the Connecticut Sun. Out of Walnut Creek, California, the 26-year-old Michaela Cowling. You spoke to her at halftime, speaks really well. Total team focus. Has played in France, Greece, Turkey and Israel. 130 games with University of California, Berkeley. 123 starts, 1274 points in her collegiate career as well with the Golden Bears. She is a talent. Michaela Cowling, speaking of talent, there's some local talent. Tegan Graham battling for it on the floorboards. They win it back and they settle it, but the shot clock is at 10. Carr needs to get moving here. Has Kirasome in front of her, gives it up to Tegan Graham. Have a look at that. She wanted that one so badly. She deserved it too. From the offensive rebound, the hustle on the floor, she deserved that three. And you know what? Tough game for the Queens. It's really tough when you're down this much at home, but you want to enjoy it as well. Tegan's family's out there in the crowd. Well, she's home. She may have the best celebration in Tauihi in the entire competition. Not sure our cameras picked her up as she was going down the floor. Grace Hunter misses, but two outstretched arms, tongue out, smiling. Queens need more of it.
Oh, McKenna Dale.
Hasn't she been strong tonight? She's an incredible talent.
11 points in the game for McKenna Dale. And just as the Queens provide a spark, this Whai team playing with confidence here this afternoon answer so quickly back the other way. Graham again, another 2. She moves to 12 points and is the only Queen in double digits.
There's a good double team heads-up play by Chrislyn Carr, recognised.
Sky City player timeout available for both teams. Still in this second half. Here's Wilson looking at her options inside. Zagera has her arm held back. She'll head to the TAB. The margin right now is as it was at quarter time here today. It's at 19. Here's the GJ Gardner-Holmes replay.
They use a really good pick and roll on the ball there, but not much you can do. She's driving to the basket. She's been unstoppable all night with the ball in her hand.
The concerns, of course, not just on the scoreboard for the Queens. Looks like a calf injury to Paris Lokatui, an ankle injury to Steph Watts, out with illness, Maya Dodson, and now this deep Queens squad will be tested, you would think. Not only have they been tested today, but they may be tested again next week. Oh, Tegan Graham, who's had the best quarter of any Queen in the third, nearly finished it with a three-quarter court shot. But at three-quarter time, the Whai headed for victory. They're up by 21. The job ahead for the Queens is an almighty one. We're back with the last quarter right here on Sky Sport after the break. Welcome back to Te Rauparaha Arena in Porirua this afternoon. Tauihi Basketball live on Sky Sport. They need a bit more of that, the Queens, in this last quarter. They need to play and play hard. They trail by 21. The TAB stats all going the Whai's way. Former Tall Fern Olympian, WNBA player, and all-around good person, Megan Compain, a quarter to play. How do you see this one panning out as Stella Beck gets the Queens up and going with an early basket?
Yeah, I think it's going to, obviously 21 points in one quarter is a tough one to come back. I think they'll start to close the gap a little bit. No doubt they'll have a little bit of a run here and there. Tegan had a great third quarter, just came alive, but it's a big ask against a very, very good Whai team who are not letting up.
Here's Beck. Can she get back-to-back baskets to start us off? You bet she can.
Lovely little move there by Stella Beck. She's so classy with the ball.
So a good start here by the Queens, and worth noting, Steph Watts is back on the floor. So that is a really good sign for the Queens, especially with the Kahu paying them a visit next Saturday night. Of course, all the action, as with every game, live on Sky Sport. We're looking forward to the grand final matchup next Saturday. Here's Cowling with some space up over the top of Graham. So Steph Watts back out there. She does have that left knee bandaged up, so maybe more a knee complaint than an ankle complaint. Hey, it doesn't matter. Takes the big triple. That's how much she means to the Queens. That is her first field goal of the game, just her 5th shot this afternoon. But good signs with the WNBA top 10 draft pick back on the floor.
Absolutely, even if nothing else, to give the Queens a sense of pride in this last 10 minutes. It's really hard going into a quarter knowing that you're so far behind, but you start a quarter like that, 2 back-to-back baskets by Stella and a 3 by Steph Watts. It means so much because they've struggled all game to get firing and get going.
Queen T up and about this afternoon, trying to lift her Queens. Sell Super Special for round 4 in Tauihi. The large 100 pepperoni black garlic pizza, just $30. The online code is KICKS, and that's available until next Tuesday. I was just watching Queen T. Man, what a show.
It's a shame the cameras weren't on that one either, but also noted a very, very timely timeout by Coach Mel Bennett. She saw the writing on the wall there.
Well, the margin's back to 14.
That's incredible. And as I say,
you and I have both written the Queens off about 400 times this afternoon.
You were trying to stay neutral here, Justin. Trying to stay neutral.
Well, the Whai with some work to do out of the timeout. They've seen a mini run here by the Queens. They still lead by 14, though. Here's Zagara stepping back to the left. Excellent basket. What a way to respond.
Classy move by Sarah there. But this is the one I want to see coming. Start getting going. And even that, that gives you so much confidence as a player. You haven't had the ball a lot in your hands. You haven't felt like you've been productive at all. Getting a lovely assist like that to underneath the basket to Stella means a lot.
Beck has 11 points now. Here's Chrislyn Carr picking up the pace. I think the Queens sense an opportunity here. Chrislyn Carr, deep 2. And we're back at 12.
It's like they're listening to us, Justin.
Surely not. This would be a major upset if the Queens get up, given that the Whai led by 28
at one stage. 12 points in the game. That's what's going to come down to the game, is those little things. I think the defensive pressure, not turning the ball over and boxing out. The Queens did a really good job of boxing out those last 2 plays, get the ball and had transition success off the back of it.
Can they get a stop here? Cowling, rebound. Steph Watts takes over 8 rebounds a game. Has missed a fair chunk of this one, but she is not done. What a basket, Steph Watts.
What a basket. If she's favouring a leg, you would not have known it in that one, going coast to coast around the back through 3 defences and knocking it down at the other end.
Well, that is as good as you will see. World-class stuff from Steph Watts. Wilson to respond. Off the iron, Watts battling for it. West comes up with it. Cowling now pulls up at the TAB, and the baskets aren't dropping for the Whai now. It's at 10. Could be single digits right now. No, doesn't go down for Watts. It was a good look.
Was a good look, and you got to take those, and she would know it herself. If you're going to get back in this game, those are the kinds of shots you got to take. But the Whai will be breathing a sigh of relief that did not go down.
Listen to the crowd behind us. They've found some voice. West, Cowling, massive rebound. They get it again, and this time West converts.
Good rebound by Michaela, and a lovely little dish to Amy there for the finish.
Oh, chipping in. Jade Kirasome probably just stopped what would have been a wide open look for Tegan Graham, and we've seen her knock down a couple tonight. That's a telling turnover, and that's a big block. Josie Trusdell.
That's a big block. That's what Josie does so well. She at least has won a game that it should be on a highlight reel somewhere. I would love to see Josie Trusdell's block highlight reel after this season.
Well, you can have a look at this one again. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. Back underway live, out of play. Whai get it back. Well, we just saw Jade Kirasome with a telling steal at one end. Truesdell with a big block at the other. This game has tightened right up. Margin at 12. We sound a bit surprised because it was at 28. Cowling's just committed her 5th foul, by the way. Is it her 5th? It is.
That is her 5th, and that is going to put a bit more pressure on the file. Definitely something that she'll have to think about with almost 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Queens have called a timeout here, and I reckon this timeout from Tanya Tupu, Megan, will be all about encouragement and positives and motivation.
Certainly will. I mean, Tanya is the ultimate competitor. I played with her for many years, played against her for many years in what was the National League back then, and she does not back down from a fight. And
she's got a steely look too, hasn't she?
She's magnificent. She is a queen in all senses of the word, that's for sure. But
when those daggers lock in, you know.
You don't want to be on the wrong side. But you're right. The way they've come out in this fourth quarter, 21 points down, knocked it back to 12, and there's a lot of time left. There's a lot to like about what they are doing on the offensive end, but that's a lot to like what they're doing on the defensive end. And the Whai may have, for the first time this game, start to feel a little bit of that pressure coming on.
Well, there's a fair chance the Queens will run this game out with the 5 they have on the floor. Tegan Graham, Chrislyn Carr, Steph Watts, Josie Truesdell, and Stella Beck. And now, let's see what the Queens come out of that timeout with. Carr starting to go inside. Truesdell has 11 rebounds, has 8 points. It's back to 10.
Good work by Josie inside, taking advantage of that back to the basket play. Chrislyn Carr getting the ball to her just in the right position.
We haven't mentioned Josie Truesdell's dress sense here today either. Love the new kicks that she's wearing. McKenna Dale, oh, that helps the Whai in a big, big way.
Certainly does. She is in all the right places at the right time, and this is what we're waiting for from Chrislyn Carr.
Well, where's it been today? It's just been so hard to get that open lane and drive to the basket.
I'm going to come back to the same thing I've been saying all game, Justin. The Whai's defense is textbook.
Well, I'll tell you who's textbook, Michaela Cowling.
Isn't she classy? Such a classy athlete.
Answers so very quickly. She moves to 18 in the game. Carr can shoot from deep. Kira Some's done such a good job on her today. She adds another triple.
So I said with you, there's not very often that classy players like Chrislyn Carr, like Steph Watts, are going to go a game without held scoreless. They're going to come alive at some point in the game. You just got to wonder when.
She moves to 11, her first triple of the game. The Queens have landed some long blows in this last quarter. Margin at 10, they've got to shoot. Shot clock right down to the wire, and here's Carr again. She's made her intentions known here, picking up the pace. Graham holds it up inside. Truesdell over West. Can't get it to roll. Margin stays at 10 inside the last 4 minutes.
Great look inside by Tegan. Just a bit rushed there by Josie underneath.
And this is smart by the Whai. Just using their time here. The clock is their friend right now. Safe pair of hands. Cowling sizing up Truesdell outside. Kira Sommer can hit a 3. That one deep. Rebound underneath West. May have stepped out of court.
Probably lucky she did for the Queens. I think they would have had a bump for her on the rebound otherwise.
Grace Hunter coming in.
Good effort underneath the basket by Amy West. Just really good body control for a tall young woman.
Grace Hunter, by the way, has just come in for Josie Truesdell. So this is a telling move here by the Queens to play small ball. I think they're going to really pick up the pace here.
Small ball and look for the 3.
Here's Graham. Beck. Just over 3 minutes left in the game. Stella Beck goes to 13. And believe it or not, we are at single digits with more than 3 minutes to play.
And that might be for the first time since very early on in the first quarter.
Cowling gets it back from Dale. Has Beck in front of her. Gives it up. Cowling now. back from Dale, misses. Oh, Wilson does well. Foul there, Stella Beck puts her hand straight up. Just the second foul of the quarter for the Queens.
Lucky to just good work on the offensive boards by the Whai to give themselves another chance and just take the sting out of this run that the Queens have found themselves on in the fourth quarter. 3 minutes to go.
Turnover. Here come the Queens. Up and about. Stella Beck. Carr with 11 in the game now has come to life in this last quarter and completes. Kira Somek got a hand on the ball then and did everything to stop it. Somehow, Carr has managed another basket. The margin's at 6.
Managed another basket, and she'd probably forgiven for thinking that she might have gone to the stripe on that one as well, but
Cowling responds as champions do. Michaela Cowling with a massive long triple. Carr back the other way. Wow. Draws a foul and scores. Oh boy, is she fun to watch.
Well, I tell you what, if nothing else, this Queens team were down 21 points in this fourth quarter.
They were down 28 as well in the third.
They were down 28 in the third. The Whai have played an exceptional game at both ends of the court. We have got a ball game on our hands, but not only that, it's exciting, Justin.
Can I put my hand up? I had the Queens completely buried in the third quarter.
No, you can't say that about a team. You can't say that. With the talent that is sitting on these teams right now, no one's ever out of it.
That's why I'm putting my hand up. Because I got it wrong.
Give yourself an uppercut,
I have
Justin.
just given myself an uppercut. Here's Chrislyn Carr. It is silent in here. Momentarily. Crowd up and about. We're at 6 again. Over 2 minutes to play. Queens need to get a stop. This miraculous run to get back into the game has been quite extraordinary. They've got to stop Michaela Cowling. McKenna Dale can do damage as well. Cowling again for 3. That looks short. It is. Carr with the rebound, and here she goes. The super dashing dynamic guard to Steph Watts for 3. No. Wilson rebound.
Gosh,
and the Whai settle again.
High energy. The place would have absolutely erupted. Good work by Grace Hunter. She's done a really good job on Aaliyah Wilson.
The Whai are just holding the Queens at arm's length. They have been the better team for the majority of the game. They've played some incredible basketball. They were out by 28. Too easy there for Wilson. Defense breakdown for the Queens. They get a timeout. They need a chat. 91 seconds to play. The margin back to 8. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. And as you can see there, the Queens just miscommunicate defensively.
Oh, you'd hate to see that happen. And you say basketball is a game of runs. And if that 3 had have gone down and defensive stop on the other end, we're in for a ball game. We're not counting any team out now, but still 8 points with a minute and a half to go is a big ask for the Queens against such a good Whai team. But they have shown, if nothing else, all game that don't count them out, Justin.
27-12 run in this last quarter by the Queens have got them back to this position. Official stats partner of Tauihi Basketball Aotearoa, the TAB. And please make sure you join us on Wednesday nights for Sal's Hoopheads. When we pick it all apart, we get around the desk and we have a chat about Rapid League and Tauihi. Crystal Ledger-Walker, I think, made her debut on Hoopheads while I was away overseas, and from all reports, did a fantastic job, Crystal. I know she'll be watching in this afternoon on Sky Sports. So thumbs up, Crystal, well done. And I look forward to seeing Crystal on Hoopheads many, many more times in the future.
That doesn't surprise me in the least. If you're talking about a family of Hoopheads, the Ledger Walkers
very well put.
Are the definition of such. And Crystal growing up with a basketball in her crib, no doubt. She's an incredibly smart player.
Let's see what the Queens can do here. They need to score quickly. Stella Beck can't get it to go. Scooping it up off the right, but Grace Hunter gets it back. Look out. Chrislyn Carr is in the house.
Chrislyn Carr Can we just talk about how many points that she has got in the second half? That takes her...
She's got 19 now.
To 19.
Had 2 points at half-time. 17 in the second half. Wilson can't respond. Loose ball. Queens are going to come up with it. Margin at 5. Carr again driving. Maybe searching for the foul in the end. McKenna Dale did really well to keep her hands out. But they turn it over.
Pressure by Grace Hunter. I'd say we talk about the Whai defense, an underrated player of the game at the defensive end. But look at this 3 by Chrislyn Carr. That is such a big-time move. Grace Hunter has been putting a huge amount of pressure on the guards in the second half in particular. Bit of an unsung hero here in the second half.
Chrislyn Carr was completely shut out of this game in the first half. Had 2 points from the TAB. No field goals in the first half, nothing. Completely shut down. She now sits at 19 points. And the Queens are back to within 5. It's as close as this game has been since the opening 1 or 2 plays of the game.
It certainly is. It's a tip-off, I'd say, Justin.
Can they score here? If they do, it makes things really interesting. Steph Watt steps around McKenna Dale, gets to the hoop and does score. It's a 1-basket game.
With 30 seconds to go, what do you do, Justin?
Got the player timeout available to them. Not going to use it. They come across halfway. 24 seconds to play. Cowling now calls, in fact, it's a foul against Grace Hunter. 20 seconds to play. Probably didn't need to foul.
Probably didn't need to foul, but doesn't do them any harm. They haven't put them in the bonus.
They've got
just
1 to
slow
give.
that down.
They've got 1 to give.
Got
yep.
2 to give. Yeah, 1 to give.
Margin at 3. You'd expect the Queens will foul really quickly here, or at least go for the steal early. Mind you,
I don't think you have to.
Well,
get
it's a 14-second clock. Yeah, it's inside the game clock. Cowling got it.
Get a stop and then run the play for the 3.
Mind you, if the Whai score, it's going to make life very tough for the Queens. It's a wide open shot. It's Wilson and it's a triple. That'll do us.
Wow.
What a big basket there.
What a big time play. Chrislyn Carr comes down the other end just off the back of the rim. We had a ball game, Justin.
What a basket there from Wilson. What a basket there from Aaliyah Wilson. Massive comeback by the Queens. GJ Gardner-Holmes replay. Shot clock expiring. And there it is. Aaliyah Wilson calls game in the best way possible. What a contest this afternoon in the Tauihi. Out by as much as 28 points, the Whai. They dominated for 3 quarters. Took the Queens by storm, shut them down in a major way. And then the reigning champions came storming home. 30 points to 14 in the last quarter. And denied by some massive baskets from the Whai imports. Firstly, Michaela Cowling, and then at the death, Aaliyah Wilson, who has been out of form, really hasn't lived up to expectations, coming in as a number 11 draft pick out of the WNBA and showing her class at the business end in the best possible way. She comes up clutch and leads the Whai to this 6-point win. What a performance. Just their second win of the season. The Queens slumped to their second straight loss. They're 3-3 on the season. Michaela Cowling was involved in everything. 21 points and 8 rebounds. Here she is with Megan Compain.
I'm standing here. We're just saying we've got to breathe. I've got to breathe. My heart is racing. What a game. Congratulations. Talk us through how you felt in that 4th quarter.
Honestly, shout out to the Queens. They came back. They were really aggressive. I think we didn't expect them to come back that aggressively, but it was a great game, both sides. My team, I'm really proud of them for being resilient and holding on to that win, and it was a good win tonight, great game tonight.
It was a great game by the Whai. You guys honestly had a game plan and you stuck to it. Your defensive effort, but also your 3-point shooting shooting was just incredible. How's that been working through for you for the season?
I think that's been our game plan from the beginning. We kind of just stick to the basics, and we want to, you know, even if it's not working some games, we want to go back to it, and we know our identity. So I'm really proud of my team tonight.
And how are you enjoying playing in the Tauihi Basketball League? It's great to see talent like you in the league. It's incredible for us because we're seeing these real WNBA American talent going alongside of our Kiwi girls. How's it going?
I'm having a lot of fun. Crowds like this, you know, what else can you ask for? I'm having a lot of fun.
Oh, it's awesome and great to see you, and congratulations on that win. Awesome.
Well done, Michaela Cowling. She's a star, isn't she? Speaks so well about her teammates, so well about her experience so far here in Aotearoa. There she is, high fives all the way round. It seemed for a long time that they were headed for a big win. In the end, they do get the dub, but gee, it was tight down the stretch. The Queens with some soul searching to do during the week, and maybe some injury concerns as well. Let's have a look at the TAB stats from an eventful afternoon in the Tauihi. Chrislyn Carr, 2 points at halftime, ends with 19. Boy, did she light it up down the stretch. Cowling leading the way with 21 for the Whai. Wilson with 17, none bigger than the final 3 points of her afternoon. McKenna Dale with 14 as well. Trisdale 11 rebounds. Segura, you kind of forget about the performance of the Austrian, but she was pretty solid.
Oh, she was. I'm just still coming down a little bit. Justin, that game had me on the edge of my seat. My heart is racing. Great chat there with Michaela Cowling, and what an absolute consummate pro. The first thing she did was give credit to the Queens. Yeah,
she did that. And rightfully so. They made a game of it down the stretch. The blocks, there was a few of those. Of course, no Maya Dodson here today. She's usually the queen of the blocks for the Queens, pardon the pun. All the stats brought to you by the official stats partner of the Tauihi, the TAB. Great to have them along with us on this ride through